Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching or listening to us from. This is the Niger FC podcast where we bring you our raw, honest, unfiltered opinions on all the latest topics in the world of Nigerian football. As always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have with me once again my reliable co host.
Smith Layi. Thank you guys for joining once more.
Yes, thank you very much for joining. Another Tuesday, another episode of the Niger FC podcast. And boy, do we have a special one for you guys this week because we are going to be breaking down, talking about, dissecting, analyzing any word that you can think of the Super Eagles 23-man list, the squad to face Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Eric Shell dropped his first list, 39-man provisional list a week ago. Lots that we had to talk about, and today he decided to shock us even more. Some things that we had been hearing in the rumor mills. See, this is why sometimes Nigerian media is hard to know what is true and what is not true because we're hearing, oh, this person is going to lead the squad, this person is getting dropped, blah blah blah, and then at the end of the day, we saw something completely different.
Different.
But before we get into it, guys, as always, let me just start by reviewing the past week very quickly. I'll breeze through it just to highlight Nigerian players that performed well, and then we'll get into the conversation about the Super Eagles list. So this past week, we had a lot of Nigerian players in action and a lot of Nigerian players performing well. Two goalkeepers to highlight: Chama Kanadozie for Paris FC Feminine and Maduka Okoye returned to action with Udinese made four saves in their 1-1 draw versus Lazio. In defense, Bruno Emechi kept the clean sheet, created two chances, won three tackles and nine goals for Olympiacos. Calvin Bassi, two tackles, two blocks, seven goals, one for Fulham. Onyechi Zor, clean sheets, two blocks, five goals, one, 12 clearances for Perth Glory FC. Awaz Yem kept the clean sheets while making two tackles, three interceptions, nine clearances for Colorado Rapids in the USA. Jonathan Renariga kept another clean sheet, created one chance, made six clearances for Car against. Gabriel Osho kept the clean sheet, one block, two goals, one, four clearances for AJ Oxel. Victor Ochai got an assist from defense for September Sofia, and Olaino kept a clean sheet while making one tackle, three clearances, and four goals, one for Nottingham Forest in that interesting, important, big victory for them over Manchester City. Moving over to the midfield, Frank Onyeka with a chance created, three interceptions, four tackles, six clearances, and eight goals, one big performance for FC Augsburg. Chinwendu Nkama created one chance, completed three dribbles, and won eight goals for AC Bellinzona. Ade Oguns scored a goal while winning three goals for CAS Eupen in Belgium. Philip Azango created two chances and won eight goals for Spartak Trnava. James Adeni scored a goal and created one chance for Hapoel Adera in Israel. Chrysantos Uche, one chance created, two tackles, nine goals, one for Getafe in their big 2-1 victory over Atletico de Madrid. Stephen Chimezie scored a goal for Mostar in Malta. And then going over to the forwards, Charles Achimene scored a goal for Quang Nam in Vietnam. Goodness Ajayi scored a goal for NK Opatsija in Croatia. Taufik Ismail got an assist and won 6-0 for Gonik Zabze in Poland. Chidera Ejuke scored one goal, a fine goal by the way. Two dribbles completed and seven goals for Sevilla in their 1-0 victory over Real Sociedad. Ademola Lukman scored a goal and created one chance with an all-round fine performance for Atalanta in their 4-0 victory over Juventus. Paul Mukairu scored a goal and created two chances for Bolispor. Abdullahi Shoaibu scored a goal for Kabbalah FK. Anthony Junior Locosa scored a goal for Mederevo. Emeka Namani got an assist for B93. Monday 8 team scored one goal and created one chance for Hillerod. Kingsley Duo scored one goal for ES Setif. John Okoye Ebuka scored a goal for Al Masri. Michael Olaha scored a goal for SLMA. Ahmed Adebayo scored one goal for Tatu Tameka in Estonia. Sadiq Fatai got an assist for Penafel in Portugal. AGK Okpara scored one goal and created two chances for Novi Padza. Sadiq Umar scored a goal, the winning goal, and created one chance for Valencia in Spain. Francisca Odega scored one goal and created three chances for Etihad Ladies in Saudi. Ahmed Adebayo, one goal for Tameka. We had Chinon Sofor was on target for Ada BG in Bulgaria. Rashid Akombi scored a goal for Sheriff in Moldova. Daniel Chimachuku scored two goals and got one assist for Chennai in India. Geoffrey Chinedu Charles scored one goal for Astana in Kazakhstan. Yusuf Bamidele scored a goal and created one chance for FK Vojvodina in Serbia. Victor Osimhen scored a goal for Galatasaray, the winner in their comeback. Those Galatasaray people can stress somebody, man. But Osimhen scored the winner. Blessing Eleke scored a goal, his first goal for FK Partizan in Albania. Peter Itodo scored one goal for Dynamo City in Albania. Ismail Akinade scored a goal for Terengganu. Uchena Ogundu, one goal and one assist for Sanyo Faspor in Turkey. Alex Iwobi got an assist for Fulham in England. Ubong Ekpai scored one goal and created one chance for Dynamo Cheske. Ahmed Gero scored one goal for Levadia Tallinn in Estonia. And Sani Suleiman, two chances created and six goals won for AS Trenchin. And of course, on Eagles Tracker, our star of this past weekend, our star of the week was none other than Ademola Lukman. All round performance, ball was always a threat throughout the game. Thankfully he was able to get his goal to seal his performance. And congratulations to him. And then for the team of the week, we had Maduka Okoye in goal, 4 saves for Dunisi. Defense was Bruno Yemaichi, Jonathan Renariga, Gabriel Osho, and Olaino. All 4 players kept clean sheets as well as other things that they did in that game. In the midfield, we had Franco Nyeka and Chrysanthus Uche, 2 players that did not make the Super Eagles list. We'll talk about this in a bit. And then in the attack, we had Chidera Ejuke, Ademola Lukman, Daniel Chimachuku, and Uchena Ogundu. That was the Nigerian team of the week on Eagles Tracker. So, Smith Lai, very, very quickly, who impressed you the most this past weekend?
I have to. A lot of people normally talk about the forward players. They get the accolades. The numbers are there for them. But I have to highlight Ola, just to tell you how vital and important Ola, is. There was a build up to that game. Once that man is not ready for Doku. I don't know. I saw that tweet, but I think he denied that he's not the one. I don't know what
Yeah, he said it was fake.
it was fake. So, it was so good. For me, I don't know who to pick as our best player this season for now.
Hmm.
If you have to mention them, I think Olaina, the level of consistency is actually what probably the best right back in England, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
Because people have been mentioning Arnold. I think the primary objective of a right back is to defend first before you attack, and Olaina does that one better than Trent, Alexander Arnold. For me, Olaina takes it. Though it was so hard for me to pick between him, Cristiano Sushi, and also Lukman, but I have to pick Olaina because hardly defenders actually was getting mentioned.
No, definitely. And I'll just say a big shout out to Christy Uchebe, who won the Portuguese Taca da Liga Feminina with SL Benfica for the 5th season in a row. That's a big one. Five in a row. Congratulations to Christy Uchebe. Okay, that's that. Let us get into the main conversation for today because I know we're going to spend a lot of time on this, really breaking down and dissecting the squad. In case you haven't seen it, Eric Shell today released his 23-man Super Eagles squad to face Rwanda and Zimbabwe in March FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Of course, you know that Nigeria were behind and we really need to catch up on the table. Let me just walk you guys through the team very quickly, and then Smith Lai will take it position by position. We'll talk about who was included and we'll talk about who was left out. Okay, this is the squad on your screen. The goalkeepers, we have Stanley Nwabali, we have Amas Obasoge of Singida Black Stars in Tanzania, and then we have Kayode Bankole of Remo Stars. Nwabali, of course, plays for Chipa United in the South African League. In defense, we have William Trust Ekong of Al Khulud in Saudi, Brighton Samuel of Fenerbahce. We have Bruno AMH of Olympiacos. We have Calvin Bassi of Fulham, Ola Aino of Nottingham Forest, and then Igor Ogbu, a first-time call-up for Igor Ogbu of Slavia Prague. In the midfield, we have Wilfred Onye Ndidi of Leicester City, Rafael Onyedika of Club Brugge. We have Alassane Yusuf of New England Revolution in the USA. We have Alex Iwobi of Fulham. We have Joseph Ayodele Aribo of Southampton, and we have Papa Daniel Mustafa of Niger Tornadoes, a first call up for Papa Daniel. And then moving over to the forwards, we have Samuel Chukwueze of AC Milan. We have Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray, Ademola Lookman of Atalanta, Victor Boniface of Bayer Leverkusen, Moses Simon of FC Nantes, Sadiq Umar of Valencia, Nathan Teller of Bayer Leverkusen, and another first-time call-up. This one is for Toluwa Lashe Arokodare of KRC Genk in the Belgian Pro League. Smilai, before we get into the nitty gritty, when you first saw the announcement, I know I texted you. I said, this person is not there. This person is not there. Blah, blah. You posted on your page, Shell one. So when you first saw the list, what were your immediate thoughts?
I went to look for Ahmed Musa. That was when I went to look for Ahmed Musa because I've been like having this thought that maybe probably he's going to make it. If you said it earlier, the media reported it, and I also have it on like from a very reliable source
Mm,
that they have submitted Ahmed Musa's name for special what consideration to be
mm,
part of the team to Kigali. And these are like big people in Nigerian football. So I was wondering that there is no way that he can get over this. Sure, I think he's going to yield to the pressure, but that's why I said he actually won the battle.
mm.
So I went to check Ahmed Musa. Yeah.
For me, when I first saw the list, I think I wanted to see if Ahmed Musa was on it as well. I was really looking. Okay, I saw okay, Musa is not there. I started to look at some certain other players that might be there, might not be there. overall, the thing is, there is no perfect Super Eagles squad list. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reality. We're always going to have disagreements. People are always going to say, "Oh, why is this guy not there? Why is that guy there?" But I think that there are some big talking points. Eric Shell has come with, I'll say, a sort of bomb. He didn't go the safe route and just call 23 players that everybody would expect.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go the route of calling maybe some of the newer names that people were really clamoring for, like a
Mm-hmm.
Pisanto Suche, for example. A lot of people in the media, fans, everybody wanted him to be there, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and he dropped this bomb on us. So I was like, it's a bit gutsy, but at the same time, I'm like, how much of it was Eric Shell's preference, and how much was it of it was pressure from external forces? We'll get into that. Let's take it position by position. Three goalkeepers. We have Stanley Nwabali, Amas Obasoge, and Kayode Bankole. Now, Stanley Nwabali, of course, nobody can doubt his quality. We saw him at the AFCON. He did really well for us. Of course, this season at Chipa United has not been the best season for him, but we are also cognizant of the fact that he has dealt with some personal issues in his life that have affected him. Amas Obasoge was playing for Kasil Fanema in Ethiopia. In January, he moved to Singida Black Stars in Tanzania. I think since he joined Singida Black Stars, he has kept about 3 clean sheets in like 5 different matches. But he's somebody that has been in the team in the past. And then Kayode Bankole is the second choice goalkeeper for Remo Stars in the MPFL. Bankole is a goalkeeper that in years past, people have spoken about him and have spoken highly of him. And people have even wanted him to be in the team in the past. But this time, maybe people were not really expecting him to make the final 23. And then, of course, the big omissions from the goalkeeping list: Maduka Okoye of Udinese, and I'll say Adebayo Adeleye of NOC's Paralimno in Cyprus. So, Smith, like, do you think Eric Shell got it right with these three goalkeepers that he has called up?
For me, I don't think you can fault is the inclusion of those three goalkeepers. You have to understand that Manduka Okoye actually was just coming back from injury. He kept his first game in about 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months,
Mm,
against Lazio, SS Lazio, just on Monday. And I think that he's just coming back. For him to be able to select those guys, I think there could have been communication between him and Manduka Okoye. Just maybe he was excused from that team. So no, looking at the big surprise for me was actually what Kadiman called it. I said it clearly that it was not the first choice of the Chan team. It was Henry Uzo Edema that was the first choice of the Chan team, the Aniba goalkeeper.
yeah.
It wasn't even the first choice of Remo Stars. It was the second choice. It was Sergio Bassa, the Benin Republic goalkeeper. He got called up to the national team. That was the first choice. So they have been making mistakes, considering some useless goals. I saw the goals he considered against against Bender Insurance in Benin City. It was off his line. Just like a rush of blood. So for me, I don't know how he got into the team, but I spoke to someone too, very close to the Raymond Stars camp. He said that okay, the reason why Bankole wasn't the first choice was because there was the contract dispute at the start of the season.
Mm,
That's renewal or no renewal. So they went for Sergio Obasa. And since Obasa, became first choice, the rest is history. So for me, I just think that he's the only one I will not pick.
mm.
But it's also hard for you to make case for Adelaide, the guy in Israel,
In
Adelaide,
Cyprus.
in Cyprus. He's in
He's
Cyprus
in
now,
Cyprus now, yeah.
and it's just a shame that he thought he was called up. He thought he was ready, you know.
You know, pack bag.
Yeah, he was ready. He was ready because there's something that they sent to them after the
Mm,
invitation. They
mm,
sent it to him,
mm.
and he was ready, And this is the second time they'll be doing it to him. I think it's extremely unfair. It's really, really unfair. And he quoted it to that, I don't know. I think it's unfair.
Smilai, I'm going to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see how Maduka Okoye is left off this list. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I am fully aware that Maduka Okoye has been out with an injury,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see how Amas Obasoge or Kayode Bankole would do better than Maduka Okoye. Now,
Yeah.
you say you think, okay, there must have been communication between Maduka and the NFF. I don't see how they would have communicated with Maduka and Maduka would have told them he's not fit to play. Because, yes, he's just making his first appearance in a while, but he has been back in training. He has been fairly ready to go, and his team are just easing him into it. And see, his
Mm-hmm.
coach, once he was fully ready, his coach threw him into the starting 11.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, they put him on the bench. It was threw him straight in the starting 11. And dare I say, with all due respect to Obasogi and Bankole, I would take a 60% Maduka Okoye ahead of them. Some people say, oh, he has not been playing. There are substitute goalkeepers that they go the whole season. They're just on the bench every single match. Does it mean that if they are called upon, they're not ready to play? No. So
Mm-hmm.
even if Maduka has not been playing, it's not like an outfield player that you require a lot to get into that match fitness. He's not running
Mm-hmm.
around on the field. He's not doing anything. If you guys know Maduka Okoye well, you know that Maduka is somebody that always takes care of his body. So even when he's not
Mm-hmm.
playing, he's still working out. He's still keeping fit. He's in shape. He had the surgery on his hand. So okay, maybe he was not catching ball that often during the recovery time, but he was in shape. Maduka Okoye is ready to go. And when you have somebody who is clearly our second best goalkeeper, dare I say is even a better goalkeeper than Nwabali, but obviously because Nwabali has been doing for the national team, he can't just displace him like that. To
Mm-hmm.
somehow leave him off and say, oh, it's maybe because he's injured, I don't agree. There's another player that was left out of this team, and I spoke with him, and I was saying, could it be because he had just come back from injury? And the player said they did not even contact me to ask me about my injury. If they did, I would have told them I was fit. That's what the player told me. So
Mm.
I doubt if they had contacted Maduka Okoye as well to inquire about his injury. I seriously doubt that. And for me, I don't see how you do not call Maduka Okoye because, again, Bankole has been on the bench at his club.
Mm-hmm.
Obasoge just joined Singida Black Stars and played a couple games for them. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like he's doing so fantastically well. And we know the kind of form that Maduka Okoye was in before he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back first game yesterday, 2 days ago, and had another good performance. He did well against Lazio.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't understand. I do not understand. That's one of the things that I question. That was this really Eric Shell's choosing? Was this really Eric Shell looking at the five options and saying, you know what, I will take Obasoge and Bankole ahead of Maduka? I do not understand it.
But okay, let me just say this thing. I just give the benefit of that. Maybe probably he looked at Pantoka's injury, just coming back. And secondly, I think for him to select Kadiban Kole, that's a choice of Ogumadede, in my opinion. I think maybe probably he's the coach of him. He's the coach of Bankole. I've been working with Bankole for so many years. Maybe recommended Bankole that he's a good goalkeeper. You call him up. I think that is Ogumadede's what's it called choice. And what even makes me sad is that. That's why you cannot even trust these Nigerian coaches sometimes, honestly. Because for me, the second choice is now in Super Eagles. Ogumade is not, Ankole is not even your first choice. He's not
That's
even
the
the
thing.
best
If you
goalkeeper.
even want to call from the MPFL, why not call somebody that is starring
The
every
first,
week?
yes. Why can't you call Nuruddin Badmos? Why? He's been doing well, fantastic well in the MPFL. Why not Nuruddin Badmos? Even the same Bankole was second choice to Chichanti. He didn't keep. Was Unzodima and Unzodima that actually was keep. So for me, I just think that Chelle picked Abasoge and Wabali. I think Ugumade picked Kaldi.
And I mean, knock on wood, we pray nothing happens. But if Nwabali should injure maybe 15 minutes into the first game now, who is going to play between Obasogi and Bankole?
I think it's Obasoge.
Hey, if he comes on, do you have confidence in him?
Yeah, I've watched him a couple of times. He's a very good goalkeeper, talented goalkeeper. I watched him in a very difficult Confed Cup game in Algeria. He saved penalty. He was unbeatable. Like he was
Hmm.
so inspired against the Algerian team. I think it was MC Oran. So fantastic on his day. He was the best goalkeeper in the Nigerian Premier League before he left. So I understand his selection.
Is he the best goalkeeper in Tanzania now?
Not, I don't think probably the best, but in Tanzania you have the first choice of Malian goalkeeper there. The first choice of
Hmm.
Mali is there. You have these big boys there. So for me, I just think that he's a good goalkeeper.
Okay, I mean, I hear that. I honestly have, since the list was announced, I've tried to hear all sides of the story. I've tried to wrap my head around it. I've tried to understand, and I just cannot really find the rationale for it. I think Maduka Okoye is undoubtedly among the best three goalkeepers that Nigeria has to offer.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
If it's that he was out he was still injured,
Mm-hmm.
fine. I'm not asking you to call a player that cannot actually play for the team, but he is
Mm-hmm.
fit. He
Yeah.
included him in the provisional list. He is back to fitness. He
Mm-hmm.
just played for Udinese and had a good game. And then the next day, you tell me that he's not good enough to be among the three goalkeepers called for Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I shake my head at it. But let us move forward for the sake of time and for the sake of conversation. Defenders, we have William Trust Ekong, Batasai Samuel, Bruno Emechi, Calvin Bassi, Olaino, and Igor Ogbu. Four defenders were removed from that list. Gabriel Osho was removed, Zedu Sanusi was removed, Jordan Torunariga was removed, and Ifeanyi Oyebuchi was removed. Smilai, do you think he got it right with these six defenders?
I think he got it right, in my own opinion. But it's just that the number of selections is my own problem.
Hmm.
He's going with the three central defenders. Maybe probably there's no backup for the left back. Maybe Olaino is going to be a
No,
backup.
Calvin Bassi and Olaino can
Olaino
play
can be
there if need
backup.
be.
He's going to be backup for the right back. He's going to be Brazil somewhere. He's going to be backup for the
Yeah.
right back. Then in the central defense, you only have three natural central defense there. That's the Ekong, Igor
Bassi.
Obu, and Kevin Bassi.
So
So
you, okay,
he
sorry, let me
really
finish. Let me let you finish. Sorry.
he really sacrificed a lot of things in there. For me, the big selection there was actually what Igor Obu. I know that it was going to choose between Igor Obu, Gabriel Osho, and actually what Jonathan Torinaga. I think he wants to choose between them. I think and Ifeanyi Onyebuchi. But I think for me, he watched Ifeanyi Onyebuchi in the MPFL, so I think he changed his mind about picking Ifeanyi Onyebuchi. Even me too, I would change my mind because Ifeanyi Onyebuchi have not been performing well since the game he played against Ghana in the CHAN qualifiers. So, in my opinion, I think he got it right. I think if you look at it, Igor Ugu have never got a mention under Finidi George. And he got any mention under Esne Guavon. So for him to get a call up now, I think it's Eric Chelle signature invitation.
Hmm.
That okay, I should have won this guy. And fantastic inclusion. We should be honest with ourselves. If Igor Ugu is from South Africa, we got in South African national team.
But
If Igor
we're not South Africa.
I'm just saying it now. I'm just saying that Africa is like the best team in our group. If I have to
Yeah, yeah.
say, so in my own opinion, I think that he actually got it right. I think he chose to pick Igor Ogu because of the ruggedity and
Hmm.
the African thing. That is why I just think he picked Igor Ogu ahead of Jordan and the brother shop.
Hmm. Okay, for me, I would not necessarily agree that he got it right, but I also don't think he got it so wrong. William Trustekong is the skipper of the team. Of course, he was going to be there. But Osai Samuel and Olaino, they are really the only two right backs that are in contention. Ebue, he only just returned to match fitness and was on the bench last week. Um, Defense, Zedu Sanusi has barely been playing, so I can understand Zedu Sanusi's exclusion from the team. Also, when you consider the fact that Aino can play right and can play left back, and if need be, you can also push Calvin Bassi to the left back position. Where I am a bit concerned is in the centre back position, honestly, because we have Ekong and Bassi as the two starting centre backs, I'm assuming, and Igor Ogbu as the backup. Now, if anything happens, we are going to be throwing Igor Ogbu straight into the fire. No experience at this level, first time in the national team. It can be a big occasion for him. We know the pressure, the weight that comes with wearing the Nigeria jersey. God forbid if he's being thrown in at a time where maybe we're losing the match or we're drawing and we're desperately in need of a goal. Anything can happen. I know that people will say we're playing against Rwanda, we're playing against Zimbabwe. Why are we even worried?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Rwanda just beat us in November,
Mm-hmm.
so we cannot take anybody for granted. For me, or personally, I would have picked one more centre back to have four centre back options, and I would definitely have picked Gabriel Osho.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel Osho is a defender that has been playing in the French League One and has been having a good season with Auxerre.
Mm-hmm.
He is playing against tough defenders, top opposition nearly every week. Probably different strikers that are better than the ones that he will face against Rwanda and Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
Now I like Igor Ogu. I think he's a young player. I think he's 25 years old with high prospects and can do really well in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when I look at Gabriel Osho, I think Gabriel Osho is a better defender. I think Gabriel Osho offers more. Now, if we're talking about the gra, the physicality, the fight, okay, maybe Osho is not a fighter like Igor.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, is that enough to completely? exclude Osho from the team, knock on wood, nobody gets injured. But God forbid if Basi gets injured. Now you are going to ask who? Ekong or Ogbu, who is going to play left center back? God forbid if Ekong gets injured. Now you tell
Aribo.
Aribo because he played one game in Southampton. For me, it is quite incredible. I think it is a chance that the man is taking.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe his plan is to play three at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can use Simon as somebody from wing back position, and he's not too concerned about center backs. Maybe he
Mm-hmm.
thinks everybody that is there can play the center back position. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it is a big gamble. I hope it does not bite us in the butt. I hope that it works well. I don't want to pour sand in Igor Obu's Gary, but for me, I think Gabriel Osho should have been included as the seventh defender on this list.
Mm-hmm.
And if Gabriel Osho was there, I would not be saying anything about Igor Obu at all because I
Mm-hmm.
think Igor Obu deserves a chance. I think he's a young player who is doing well and deserves a chance. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
I think Gabriel Osho is better than him. And if it was
Mm-hmm.
one or the other, I would have gone with the guy with more experience who has been in the team before, coming in for these crucial World qualifying matches. Because if we drop points in any game, it
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a worry for us if we drop points in any game moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. We cannot afford to not win both matches. Now, I know somebody is saying here, oh, Osho has had this opportunity and wasn't so brilliant. Again, I don't know why Nigeria we just have a zero patience policy when it comes to players in national team. People expect that you play one game, you bang, or you play two games, you are amazing. And it doesn't always happen like that. There comes the pressure, there comes weight. You also play somebody in games where the whole team is not performing well, and all of a sudden you say the person got his chance. So if Igor Obu comes and plays and he doesn't do well, don't call him up again. Is that how we just switch things out in our national team?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really agree with that. I don't think Osho has played enough for anybody to rule him out or completely say that he's a fixture in the national team. But for me, if you are calling based on form, Osho's form beats Igor Ogu's form. If you are calling based on level, Osho's level beats Igor Ogu's level. If you are calling based on ability, Osho's ability beats Igor Ogu's ability. The only thing that can justify Igor Ogu ahead of Osho is the physicality that you mentioned.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe Eric Shell just analyzed their two styles of play and said, you know what, I prefer Igor's style. Maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when I look at all the metrics are in favor of Gabriel Osho. But I mean, let's see how that goes. In fact, I would even have also picked Jonathan Renariga
Mm-hmm.
ahead of him. Like that's the reality because
Mm-hmm.
Renariga can play left center back, and he has
Mm-hmm.
also been doing very well for Kaya against this season
Mm-hmm.
in a higher league than the Czech league.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe again you might want to say it's not as physical, but the way we talk about physicality and talk about this African football, blah blah blah, as if we play against the Spaniards, they will not still outplay us, regardless of how physical we want to be, or against the French or the Argentine or the Brazilian. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we just take unnecessary risk with these two important games,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to support them. I like Igo. He's a nice young player. He's a humble guy. I hope he doesn't get to play. That's not me praying bad for him. I
Mm-hmm.
just hope that nothing happens to Ekong and Basi that we need to sub them off because I have
Mm-hmm.
confidence in those two guys. I don't know how much confidence I have in him in terms
Mm-hmm.
of just experience, ability, all those things. It would be a nice opportunity for him to understudy and for
Yeah.
him to watch and for
Yeah.
him to see, but he could have also got his experience in June. But nevertheless, let us see how that goes. Similar, I do want to say anything else on the defenders before
No,
we.
for me, I just think that he said he watched them 5 or 6 times, and you realize that okay, oh, I have to go with this person because of what I want to do. And I even think that Igogu he was looking for Igogu, and he got recommended that Igogu can do what he wants to do. So it was a very extensive scout network. Don't forget that Gabriel Shaw played in France, and also and Eric Chelle is based in France. So for me, I think Ocho is going to have his opportunity, but I just think that now he's going for Ogu. But for me, I think that we have called at least one more central defender just to balance the book.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I definitely think that one more center defender would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said Ndidi can play centre back, but in 2025, we're not asking Ndidi to play centre back. I beg.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said Ogu is very good. Ogu is very good, but he's not on a short level. Let's be realistic with ourselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be realistic with ourselves. He's 25 years old. Osho is 26, has played in the Prem, has played in France. Igor Ogu is 25, still trying to, let me not say still trying to. He's a very good player in the Czech league, but the Czech league is not a league that we're really going to use to say, oh, he's better
Has
than.
it been good in the Europa League too?
He has been decent. He has been decent. He didn't have a fantastic Europa League campaign. He has been
Yeah, I know. I
decent.
know. I've watched a
To
couple
be
of games.
fair, to be fair, Slavia Prague as a whole, they didn't really do well in the Europa League this
Europa
season.
League. Yeah,
You
and
know,
they also
last
power, Kabi. Yeah.
yeah, last season they were much better. This season they didn't really do well.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't judge him based on that. But losing to Park, drawing against Malmo, they just losing to Anderlecht in the Europa League, they were not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Ogbu had some good games, but he also had some not so good games.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we cannot change the squad at this point. We just have to hope that everybody, shows their best when it comes to the game time. And yeah, I'm wishing Igor all the best. I'm wishing the team all the best. I would have just made certain changes. There's
Mm-hmm.
also a reason why Igor was benched in some of their biggest Europa League games. But still, he's a lion, man. He's a fighter. I'm sure he's excited. I'm sure he's pumped. I just hope
Mm-hmm.
that the occasion doesn't get to him and he's
Mm-hmm.
able to deliver for us. Because
Yeah.
if we need him, we're going to really need him because we
Mm-hmm.
don't have any other options. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
any other options.
Yeah.
I will just wrap up by saying I think that was an Eric Shell selection, though. That one I don't think it was influenced. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's probably him that said, you know what, I like this guy. I want to see him play. And
Yeah.
let's see, let's give him benefit of the doubt. Okay, moving on to the midfielders. Wilfredin Didi, Rafael Onyedika, Alassane Yusuf Abdullahi, Alex Iwobi, Joseph Ayodele Aribo, and
Mm-hmm.
Papa Daniel Mustafa. The midfielders that were dropped: Frank Onyeka, Crisantos Uche, Anthony Dennis, and Fisayo Dele Bashir.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dele Bashir just returning to fitness, so maybe you'll say the same reason why Okoye wasn't picked. Maybe that's the same thing that applied to Fisayo Dele Bashir.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Dennis wasn't in the team ever, just got the standby a provisional list call up.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we spoke about him, still prone to an error, still a young player.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really see how he fits in ahead of certain players. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand. Crisanto Suche, your boy, who a lot of Nigerians have been clamoring for and thought that there's no way he doesn't get into the team, also been
Mm-hmm.
left out despite performing well for Getafe throughout this season. And then Frank the Tank
Mm-hmm.
Onyeka, I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, that's the big shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Onyeka has been having a very fine season for FC Augsburg in the German Bundesliga and has
Mm-hmm.
also been left out. Out of these four players that were removed from the midfield list, like,
Mm-hmm.
do you think there's any or more than one of them that definitely should have been in the squad?
I think Frank Onyeka. I think Frank Onyeka. I think if Frank Onyeka he's not a Gen Z now again in this team. He's been
Best
like
midfielder at the AFCON.
yeah, best player at the AFCON, been like a integral member of this team. A fantastic personality. His work rate is unquestionable. It's been there. But I understand why Frank Onyeka did not make the team. I understand.
Explain to
But
us.
so for me, I just think that maybe Eric Chelle wanted a player that can actually use the ball more. I don't. I think Frank Onyeka is a very good marker of the ball. He's industrious, when he's playing for a team. But in my opinion, I just think that he needs to do more about using the ball. I've watched Frank Onyeka very well. Even his former coach, I won't say his former coach. His coach at Brentford, Thomas
Thomas
Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, said it one of the game. I think it was against one of these teams. I forgot against Crystal Palace. He won like 9 tackles or so. So they asked him that Frank the Tank. What can you say about him? He said, Frank the Tank. He marked very well. Did very well, but need to use the ball. He's so used to use the ball very well. You can hear that it wasn't. They only use him when he's playing against against a very top team. He likes to break up play. So with due respect, you have to dictate to play against Rwanda and against Zimbabwe. I don't think Frank fits into that bill. He also played very well. That was a Pasero, but because we were playing defensively. It's not as if we're taking initiative to against the opposition. So for me, I just think that that's one of the things why I think it dropped him. It could be different, but in my own opinion, that's my assumption.
How about Crisanto Suchi? Do you think
For me, For me, I think calling Santos now, I want him to be there. It can be a very big too big risk. He's calling Igbogu, he's calling Amasu, Kalibangole. There's going to be a lot of Rocky. Even now, there's still a lot of players that they called, and it's too. For me, I think it's too much for these. It's too much for these qualifiers. So for me, I think calling Uche again, maybe probably ahead of Alassane Yusuf. I think that would have been a very big call too. But Uche will still get this opportunity. But when you look at the way Eric Chile play, I'm struggling to see where Uche fits in. That is my biggest thing. I was struggling to see where Uche fits in. For me, if it's a guava now, there's no pattern, and you're offering the girl, there's no pattern. Uche will fit in anywhere. But I think there's a way Eric Chile wants to play. That's why even if Onyedika is coming with one leg, you will go and pick him
Hmm,
because Onyedika is very important to him.
hmm.
In this play. No, I hope when you finish your submission, I want to praise you on something too because when you said that after analyzing Richel, you said that a player that can perform well under this Richel will be Joe Aribo, and he went for him.
Hmm.
So to tell you that we also the watch ball too, so don't just think that we're committed to make noise. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
yeah.
let me just say, amongst the omitted players,
Mm-hmm,
again, Dele Bashiru zone. While the fact, considering the fact that he was on the bench, he's back to fitness, maybe not full fitness, he had an ankle injury.
mm-hmm,
I can understand why he was omitted.
mm-hmm,
Frank Onyeka's own, though, honestly, it blows my mind. When I saw it, I had to read the list over and over again. I said, did they make an error? Is there
mm-hmm,
something that they got wrong here?
mm-hmm,
Because I don't understand how Frank Onyeka doesn't get into the national team.
mm-hmm.
Again, I hear what you are saying about using the ball more. But let's be realistic. Among all the midfielders that were called up, who can use the ball there? Maybe it will be an Aribo.
Onyedika can use the ball.
Onyedika can use the ball, but he
He can take the
doesn't.
ball. He can take the ball under pressure without looking for foul.
Well, fair, I mean, but again, I'm not even disputing Onyedika's position in the team.
Mm-hmm,
I just think that Onyeka, see, okay, we have Indidi that is
mm-hmm,
there going to break up play. I
mm-hmm,
guess we have Alassane Yusuf who is also going to break up play.
mm-hmm.
But Onyeka,
Alassane Yusuf is my own questionable decision
see,
there.
but Onyeka brings more than Alassane Yusuf. That's the
Yes, that is
reality.
that is the reality. That is the
Onyeka
reality.
does. I don't know Papa Daniel that well. I watched him play for the Chan Eagles, but I haven't been watching either one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
But I would argue that Onyeka all day, any day is going to outplay Papa Daniel. I mean, Papa
Uh,
Daniel can take free kicks, can take long range strike.
that long range strike. I won't lie to you. Very accurate long range strike. How many times did
Is
Frank
he
Onyeka
even
take
going to
it?
play to be
Eh?
able to take that long range strike? Is he even going to play in the first
No,
place?
you don't know what he's gonna bring. You don't know what. See, let me tell you something. Just hold on, IoT. Just 1 second. I'm not making a thought. If you know Eric very well, they'll see there's going to be one Rocky. He normally picks a Rocky in his team. That one, when he was in Mali, he went to go and pick one amateur player.
Hmm.
Yeah, just to promote, just to give them the opportunity. Maybe this time around is Papa Daniels. For me, I don't think Papa Daniels is the level of Super Eagles. Don't get it wrong. But if you look at Papa Daniels too, he's going to be playing against those in Rayon Sports, those in Al Ahly de Tripoli, those in APR of Rwanda. I was like, this is a club that you should be joining to. You should be able to play against these people, you
Hmm.
know, and perform well. And it was so good during the campaign of the Chan Eagles. So I think Okumede too recommended him, but I think that Chelle was really, really impressed with him when he watched him.
Hmm. Okay. But I mean, for me, I cannot explain Frank Onyeka's omission. Chrysanthus Uche, it would be hypocritical of me to come here and be shouting about Chrysanthus Uche because when I even did my own selection, I did not include Chrysanthus Uche. So I
Mm-hmm,
cannot come and fight. Again, my own, I've held the same opinion from the start. Good player, among the best 39, of course. But when the list is narrowed down, I don't think he gets into midfield ahead of the other players that we have. I just
mm-hmm,
don't think that he has shown enough to justify it. And like you mentioned, it's hard to really see how he's going to fit into the style that Eric Shaw likes to play. He's not
mm-hmm.
really going to be playing with his back to his opponents. Is and if we already have people that are
On the
breaking up,
front foot, yeah.
yeah, if we already have people that are breaking up play for us, you might not necessarily need his rigidity or his gra in the midfield. So I
Mm-hmm,
can understand. But let's get into the players that were selected. Wilfred Ndidi. I mean, of course, we know what Ndidi brings. That
mm-hmm,
leadership, breaking up play, can also do a little bit in terms of moving the ball forward. Rafael Onyedika,
Sorry, what type of leadership what was he bring?
leadership.
What type of leadership?
Leadership on the field, with his play, with his football, driving the team forward, talking to players. I've spoken to different Nigerian players that have spoken about how indeed they help them settle into the team, how indeed he gives instructions on the field. It might not be
Uh-huh.
things that we necessarily notice as fans watching on TV, but
Uh-huh.
people speak highly to the impact of Ndidi as a leader on the team.
Does he lead by example?
He does. He's one of our best players. Yes, we will say that in recent years his level has dropped, no doubt.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
he's still one of those players that is going to fight and is going to give everything that he can give.
Uh-huh.
Yes, leading by
Everything.
example does not always mean you must be the best. It
Yeah,
might
I
just
know.
be about the work ethic, the effort, the way you organize, the way you speak to people, the way you spur people on. So for
Uh-huh.
me, I'm not going to doubt in his leadership and his contribution.
Okay.
Onyedika, we know Onyedika, box to box, can ease pressure on his defense, can set opportunities up for his more creative players. And if
Mm-hmm.
Onyedika, if he really needs to, from around 20, 25 yards out, he can also hit a ball if he really needs to. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be the first thing that comes to his mind, but if you leave him with no choice, he can punish you. He can also make some late runs into the box. Go and ask Manchester City. They saw it firsthand. So I understand what Onyedika brings. Alex Iwobi is the most creative player that we have, so we understand. Even though Iwobi is a bit unfortunate that we have to keep on using him in the midfield role that is not his preferred position. We know
Mm-hmm.
that he has been shining on the flank for Fulham throughout this season. He's now going to come and play midfield for Nigeria. That more people are going to start criticizing and insulting him that he's not a good player, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. We will be, but still we understand Iwobi's quality and he has to be there. Joe Haribo, like you mentioned, when we did the first analysis of Eric Shell after I was appointed, I remember that day I said, I know Nigerian fans might not like to hear this, so but Joe Ayodele Aribo is a player that can thrive under Eric Shell because of his ability, because of the things that he can do on the ball and off the ball, getting into the right space, dilly-dallying and just turning his way out of tight opposition, tight pressing. He can play facing his own goal, get the ball, turn left, turn right, beat a player, beat two players at once with one turn, and then he can run with the ball, he can drive forward, he can find his teammates, and he can also attack. I throw back to his days at Rangers, see the kind of things that he was doing. Those are the kind of things that I feel like he can do under a coach like Eric Shell if he uses him the way he was using his midfielders when he was coach of Mali. So I understand. But the two ones that are contentious for me, Alassane Yusuf and Papa Daniel. Alassane Yusuf, I know that he is a good player. I've been somebody that has been here in the past saying, don't just knock him because he plays in the USA. Don't just knock him because he plays for New England Revolution. Don't just knock him because maybe he considered the penalty against South Africa. Alassane Yusuf has quality. But for me, when you consider the fact that somebody like a Frank Onyeka was not called up, I cannot justify Alassane Yusuf's inclusion. Now, I would also say I'm not somebody that likes to say Northern Quota. I don't like to say it because I feel like it is a bit disrespectful to the player that was selected to just come and say the only reason why you were selected is because you're from the North. I think that that's quite disrespectful. And I mean, the boy is working hard. Even if you think that's the reason why, I think it is disrespectful to him to say it because there's been times where people from the North were not selected. And then when the northern people somehow get selected, it always becomes, oh, because you're from the north. So for me, I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment, but I cannot justify his inclusion in this national team. I think Frank Onyeka is probably 1.5 times the player that Alassane Yusuf is. I think Frank Onyeka is probably 2 or 2.5 times the player that Papa Daniel is. If we're calling Papa Daniel because of one unique ability that he has, then what's the difference between calling Papa Daniel and calling Kelechi Nwakali, who people say Nwakali can take set pieces? If it's one unique ability that we're using to call somebody using the national team, so that when you're on the field, we could just dey pray say make ball no come your make ball no come your area until it's time to take a free kick or it's time to take long shot. They will include you in the team. I don't understand how the coach just is going to justify it. For me, again, it's very unfortunate that we don't have press conferences that people can sit down and the coach can explain to us. Because again, I'm not the coach of the Super Eagles. Eric Sekou knows better than I do. Maybe he has watched Alassane Yusuf. He has seen something that he thinks he needs in his national team that Onyeka cannot give him, that Uche cannot give him. Maybe, who knows? But if he's not able to explain those things to us, it's going to lead to the kind of comments I'm making. It's going to lead to my skepticism. It's going to lead to people talking about Northern Quota. It's going to lead to people saying that the NFF have influenced him. And that's one of the things that we really hoped was going to change when he was appointed. We hope that there won't be any wuru to the answer. There won't be any mago in the selection. But when he makes selections like this and there is no explanation to, you don't have to give us a 3-page essay. Just tell us, oh, I like this about him. I think he was the best option for these games. We'll understand. I cannot understand it. Papa Daniel's own. People sometimes like to accuse me of just talking down on MPFL and talking down on MPFL players. And I say that's not the case. But for me, I look at it that if somebody is playing in maybe the 100th best league in the world and another person is playing in a top 5 league in the world and he's doing really well in that top 5 league, how do you then explain to me that that guy that is not even the best in the 100th best league is better than the guy that is doing well in top 5 league? I just don't see the justification. And again, I'm not somebody that will say call a player up simply because of one unique ability. Oh, he can take long shots. Oh yeah, now let's call him for that. So every time he touches the ball, not just to wipe him,
You can also mark.
he can also mark. Oh, he cannot mark.
When you can mark, but okay. I don't want to finish it so I can be able to like give my
No, no,
one.
no. You can go on. You can go on.
So one thing I just want to say basically is that is Nigeria. There's nothing. We said that we won't talk about another quota, but I just think that I spoke to somebody, very influential person, before the list came out, and he said that see, we have to balance everything.
Hmm.
Everything has to be balanced, but I don't know how far that was actually what went into that list. But I can tell you that maybe 20 players is the one that Chelle actually was studied and observed. Maybe the other three are just there. But like I say, AyoT, you live and die with your decisions. So, for example, now I just hope that Wabali is not injured and Bankoya has not been keeping for Raymond Stars. What's it called? Maybe Ekon doesn't get injured or Kevin Bassi, because Kevin Bassi is so important to this team. I hope he doesn't get injured. I hope Onyedika doesn't get injured, because it can destroy everything. So you must prepare for this moment. So for me, I think that I just think that he picked the player that can actually help him. I went to go and look at the call-ups to Imani, and I compared the profile of the guys that he called up to the guys that he called up, and you realize that they are similar. They are similar. I understand that he wants to create this guy. What's it called? This Dumbia type of runs from midfield. I know that he wants that type of runs. I know that he wants to look for how to cage opponents and everything. So if they want to add players to what he submitted, they will have aligned to you to take care of 25 players instead.
I was looking at the comments. Somebody said, XXX IoT, will you prefer we call it DEI instead of Northern Quota System? But see, here's my argument for people that say Northern Quota. Here's my argument. Bankole ahead of Okoye. Obasoge ahead of Okoye. Why is he not? Why are we not saying that Bankole's zone is Western Quota
We are coming
or
to that too.
Southwestern Quota?
We are coming to that too. There's Western Quota here too. We are coming to
There's
that.
Western. Yes.
There's Western Quota here. We are coming to that too. Because of the Western influence now. There's Western Quota. We are coming to that too. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, if we're going to say that the Northerners are there because of quota, then the contentious Southern Western people and things like that, why are we not also calling quota for them? But I mean, for me, I wish that the coach can come and explain to us, because Smith Layi, I was a bit skeptical of Shell in the beginning. You
Mm-hmm.
were somebody that was, you were excited for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that we won't be getting this kind of contentious decisions. Now, don't get me wrong. Regardless of who was called up,
Mm-hmm.
there would always be some arguments, because people would always
Mm-hmm.
prefer certain people. People
Yeah.
would always not want certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when you make bold decisions like this, you need to be able to back it up, and
Yeah.
you need to be able to explain to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, though. Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's take the forwards.
Yeah.
So forwards, we have Samuel Chukwueze, AC Milan, Victor Osimhen, Galatasaray, Ademola Lookman, Atalanta, Victor Boniface, Bayer Leverkusen, Simon Moses, FC Nantes, Sadiq Umar, Valencia, Nathan Tella, Bayer Leverkusen, and Tolu Walashe, Abukodare, KRC Genk. The forwards that were left off from the initial list, Cyril Dessers of Rangers was left off. Kelechi Iheanacho of Middlesbrough was left off. Chidera Ejike of Sevilla left off. Paul Onuachu of Southampton left off. Ako Adams of Sevilla also left off. And then Ahmed Musa of Kano Pillars left off. To God be the glory, because if Ahmed Musa was on that list, I would have gone on a 20-minute rant. So I'm happy that Musa is not there. But Smilai, do you think he got it right in terms of his forward selection?
You know, another. I don't think. I think. I don't. I think he got it right too, but it's just that if the Chiefs are done, and can he beat his chest and throw to Larry to the mix? That is one thing. When you are ready, you must be ready to play. That is it. If he's needing a goal and the Chiefs are done and you needed a player to come and do this thing, can you say, okay, oh, Sadiq Kumar, come, I'm going to throw it to the mix. Come and deliver for me. No. We saw Pacero did it. He won for qualifier against Zimbabwe in Batsure. He got to the box, he did the back pass. He did the back heel to somebody, These are guys that you have given that opportunity before, but they have not delivered, in my own opinion. So for me, I just think that that's why I said that he will live and die with his decision.
Oh, yes.
This guy, Sadiq Kumar and Tuluka Arokodare, I have watched them slightly and I've analyzed Tulu very well. I hope he performs in Nigeria. I don't think he's a Nigerian striker. I just hope he performs well. That's my take. So I'll prefer someone like Siri Desas. And it's not as if we will play, but Siri Desas can play with the team more than Tulu Arokodare and even Sadiq Kumar. People have been shouting Sadiq Kumar. I went to watch his highlight against the last game he played. He scored with a winning goal.
Valladolid.
So, if you talk, say somebody is wasteful, Sadiq Kumar is number one. He was heading the ball as like under 17 player. I was like, no, AyoT, I know you know what I'm talking about. There's some opportunity that he missed for Valencia that was like crazy. I was like, is this guy a pro? I'm sorry to say that. So for me, if you see him scoring goals, go and check the opportunity. It's missing. So in my opinion, I think the two wrong selections there, I think it's Sula Kodare and actually what Sadiq Kumar. I think he got those one wrong. I would have prefer him to pick Siri Desas and a more experienced Paulo Noashu. And the reason why I'm going to go for Paulo Noashu is this. Sometimes, you might need this person. You might need someone that is just too tall than all of them. And you will need, okay, there's no Sadiq Bendy to cross the ball. You will need maybe probably Osai somewhere, to lift the ball and just get it. Because for me, Paul is even taller than Kanuako. When he's taller than any of. So for me, you just need this type of player that can just come and do things at any point in time. So I think he got that right. He got that wrong. But I just hope that it doesn't backfire. Talking about Victor Boniface, I was skeptical about Victor Boniface, but he never doubted Victor Boniface's ability, which I did not doubt too. But the issue is just that I've not been impressed, with him play in national team. But this is like a new sheriff in town now, Eric Chelle. So maybe Eric Chelle knows exactly what to do to get the best out of Boniface. Time will tell. Samuel Chukwueze too have not been on the good books of Consensao, in recent weeks, despite even scoring a couple of goals, when he came on, he's not been there. But maybe, and I told you that he's going to make the team because he's the only winger with a left foot that we actually have, and there's no other option anywhere. Except you're going to go and call the guy I told you about initially, or maybe you're going to put up Fernandez there. So, in my opinion, he makes the team. So, not a bad selection, but for me, I just think that you can foresee situation that you might need someone just to head the ball, everything. I would have picked Paulo Noashu and see with the assisted of the two guys we mentioned.
Okay. Charles, I see your comment. Charles, I'll come to your comments in a bit. Um, but let me just give my thoughts. I'll take it one by one. Samuel Chukwueze, I understand that Chukwueze has not been the most impressive, playing for Nigeria in recent times. His decision making begs, a lot to question. But Chukwueze is a dynamic football player. He's one
Mm-hmm.
of those players that if he's on his best day, he can be really dangerous. He can cause problem for the opposition. And he's also the only real left-footed attacker that we have. So if we want to play somebody that is an inside forward from the right wing, Chukwueze is really the only option that we have in that role. So I cannot argue too much with Chukwueze's inclusion. I understand. And we just have to hope and pray that when he plays, he delivers. Even though there is a possibility that Simon might start there ahead of him. We'll get into those conversations in a bit. Victor Osimhen, I mean, even if Osimhen is just recovering today, he has to be in the team. Osimhen is the talisman, is the star player, is the one that we can count on to deliver us goals. Unlike all the other strikers that we are not sure what we are going to get from them. Osimhen, we know exactly what we are getting, and he always delivers for us. Ademola Lookman, best player in Africa, star boy of Atalanta, leader of the team in terms of performance at the AFCON. So I cannot doubt Ademola Lookman's inclusion. Nothing to really talk about there. Victor Boniface. A lot of people thought Boniface should not have been called up because his performances for Nigeria so far have not been up to par. And also considering the fact that he has been on the bench in recent weeks at Bayer Leverkusen. But for me, I still hold the opinion that Victor Boniface is by far, and I don't think it's even close at all. Victor Boniface, in my opinion, is by far the second best striker that we have on our books. Osimhen is here, Boniface is here, the next best player is like here. I think the gap between Boniface and whether it be Desas, Tolu, Onwachu, Sadiq, Taiwo, all of them, I think is a big gap. If we just look at the past year and a half or the past 2 years, now, has he shown us that level playing for Nigeria? Not quite. He has had some bad games, he has had some okay games, nothing great yet. And I understand why people are unhappy. But for me, when you have a player that is that good, a new coach has to give him the chance. You cannot just say, oh, because Eguavon did not get to use him right, then that means you're not going to play him anymore. It's like if you have maybe, I don't want to name any name that is too big before people will say I'm overhyping. But, let us say a player like, I'm trying to think of a name. Just a player like, let me say, Angel Di Maria when he was in Argentina. He still plays for Argentina. But let's say like Angel Di Maria when he was close to his best. If one coach like Man U, for example, where Van Gaal did not really get the best out of Angel Di Maria, if a new coach comes, the new coach has to give him a chance because you know that this guy is a quality player, regardless of whether he flopped under the last coach or not. So that's the way I see it with Boniface. If a new coach comes, you cannot ignore a player that has the quality of Victor Boniface. You give him a chance to play in your system, and if he does not fit into your system, then you can eventually cast him away and say he's not your player. But for me, because of how much better he is than the rest of the strikers, I think Boniface had to be there. Moses Simon. Moses Simon is a player that can go 20 games playing fantastically well, then he will follow it up by 10 games that is playing rubbish. He can go games where he's creating chances, then the next game, all of a sudden, all his crosses are going to the corner flag. He's a very topsy-turvy player like that. But in recent times, we know that Moses Simon has been a spark for us. In recent times, he has been a game changer for us. Getting beautiful assists to help us score crucial goals, creating opportunities for the rest of the team. Also having a good season with Nantes, essentially carrying Nantes on his back. So no doubts that Moses Simon was going to make this team as far as I'm concerned. Now, Nathan Teller, somebody that can be potentially a joker, a player that the opposition might not be too familiar with because he has not been a mainstay in the national team. Versatile player, can play as the number 9 if need be, can play as a 10 if need be, supporting striker 8 if need be, can play right wing back if need be, can play right wing if need be, can play, in multiple positions and can offer a lot. And he's one of those players that can score a goal out of nothing. Look at some of the goals that he has scored this season for Bayer Leverkusen. Taking shots from tight angles, from distances, one-time shots that people are not necessarily expecting him to shoot. Catch the keeper off guard, score a beautiful goal. So for me, I 100% agree with Nathan Teller's inclusion in this squad. And I think that if he gets the chance to play, he can maybe offer some level of dynamism and unpredictability that can really lead to positive things. Now, the two contentious ones. We have Sadiq Umar, we have Tolu Arokodare. Tolu, in the beginning of the season, so like, remember what I was saying about Tolu? I'm not convinced, I'm not convinced, I'm not convinced. But I kept on saying, if he can stay consistent, if he can keep the level of performance, I cannot argue with the selection. He stayed consistent. Did he drop off a little bit? Yes, he dropped off a little bit. But he still kept on scoring goals. He's the top scorer in the Belgian Jupiler Pro League. So I give him some credit for that. He's scoring goals. He deserves an opportunity. I give him some credit for that. Sadiq Umar, contentious one. First half of the season, Umar was not getting game time at all at Sociedad. He joins Valencia on loan. He bags in a couple goals in a few games for Valencia. Is that enough to get called up to the national team? In my opinion, no. Is the same. I like to be balanced in my arguments. I said the same thing when I was talking about Gift Orban potentially getting into the team some weeks ago. Because somebody has a purple patch does not mean that they should get into the national team. National team is for players that are consistently playing at a high level over a period of time. 4 goals in 5 or 6 matches to me is not enough to say come and play for the national team. So I don't think Sadiq Umar should have been in this squad. I do not think so. I'm not going to go as far as saying no, it's only because he's a northerner, no. But I don't think he should have been in this squad. Especially when you consider those that were left out. The likes of Paul Onwachu, the likes of Cyril Dessers. Now, Dessers is a wasteful striker. If you watch him at Rangers, yes, he wastes chances. But Dessers can play football. Dessers can use the ball well. He has a good IQ for the game, can position himself well. And at the same time, even though he can be wasteful, he can also finish a chance and score a good goal. So for me, if you are going to call 4 strikers, Osimhen, Boniface, and 2 more, I think Dessers has to be a part of those 2. I honestly think so. Now, Paul Onuachu, I said it last week. The only reason why I would have included Paul Onuachu is because when I think of teams, I always like to have one option that is just coming to be a physical specimen, a physical presence. If we're chasing the game, if we need to play long balls, if we need a header, we need someone to hold up the ball. That's where Paul Onuachu can be very effective. He's 6'8" for crying out. This man should be should be a power forward in the NBA. So for me, I always like Onwachu as that third option. Just in case we need you to just come and hold up the ball. We need you to just come and head balls down, knock it down for somebody to get a shot off. That's where I like Paul Onwachu. So for me again, maybe they're looking at Tolu as that tall striker, but I think Tolu is like 6'3" if I'm not mistaken. He's not super tall, but I mean for football, 6'3" is still kind of tall. I'll give him that. So maybe they are looking at Tolu for that physical option. Let me give Tolu the physical option quota. Sadiq. Is it football? Desas plays football overall better. Now I know Sadiq is playing in a higher league for sure, but he's only had a purple patch. He has not been consistent. He has not run it over a period of time. Desas has been doing it over the course of the season, and he has scored important goals for Rangers as well. So I would definitely have called Cyril Dessers ahead of Sadiq Umar, even though I can understand Tolu Arokodare. If the coach wants to try somebody fairly new, I also have a sense, a feeling. Nobody should take this the wrong way. I hope Arokodare will not be disrespected, but I also have a sense, a feeling that Arokodare had some people fighting for his inclusion because his name has been mentioned here and there in the past. He's a boy that has a nice story coming from box to box, everything since the beginning of the season. A lot of people have been doing strong PR for him on social media as well. So I think there might have been some pressure from maybe a Guavon or somebody else to include Tolu in the team. I don't know. But I'm not going to question him. He's the physical option if they did not want to go for Paul Onuachu. Sadiko, I don't see him as the physical option. I don't see him as the ball playing option. For me, I don't really see him getting much game time in these 2 matches. Unless the coach decides to start it with 2 strikers, I don't really see him getting much game time. Because if we're chasing a game, while I don't have full confidence in either Sadiq or Arukudare, if we're chasing a game, I'll probably put Arukudare on. Arukudare is a striker that you need to put the ball on a platter for him to finish. That's the reality. Arukudare is not creating a goal from nothing. Rarely ever does it happen. You need to create, put it in the air for him to head it in, put it on the ground for him to tap it in. That's how Arukudare scores most of his goals. But let me not post hand in his Gary. First call up, congratulations to him. I wish him all the best, and I hope that when or if given the opportunity, he can deliver. Even though selfishly, for the sake of Nigeria, I hope that he does not get to play. Not because I don't want him to get a cap, or he can get to play when we're already leading 3-0. They can bring him on for the last 10 minutes. But I hope he does not get to a desperate situation whereby we're desperately chasing a goal and then we have to bring on. It's like Man U. Man U is chasing a goal. Then bring on Chidi Obi Martin from the bench. They say that he's going to score from them. I really, really hope that we don't need him or Sadiq to come and desperately find us a goal. Because even right now, Osimhen is the only person that we can beat our chest and trust 100% to deliver goals for us. Boniface is because of the ability that we know that he has. I hope that this thing doesn't come to bite us in the butt. Let me quickly take comments before we continue the conversation because a lot of people have been talking. So Charles says, I honestly was looking forward to Frank, talking about Frank Onyeka's omission from the midfield list. We were also looking forward to Frank. We cannot explain honestly. I hope that the coach can explain it a little bit to us, but I doubt. I doubt they will allow him that chance. Somebody says Bankole is Coach Ogumodede's quota. He is not even number one at Remo. Odubayo says, I can beat my chest if Saka and Musela are available for selection. This NFF will never select them. Okay. Um, Charles also said, guys, who would you pick on the right wing? Nathan Teller or Samuel Chukwueze? Smith Lai, do you want to answer that question? Who would you pick on the right wing?
I'll pick Nathan Chelle.
Can you
At
tell
least
us
I
why?
know. I know. At least I know I'm getting a one-time cross in. I'm getting intelligent runs. I'm not gonna be playing a predictable player. So yeah, I know.
Hmm.
Yeah, one-time crossing is better for us, and this is what Victor Osimhen normally gets and score. It's not when you turn to your left foot again, then it actually was set you before you actually will cross the ball. So I said you want to be crossing like one area. So that is when I will say, okay, maybe because Waneri normally cross too with his left foot from the right, and it's that Moreno cross now from the training ground.
Hmm.
So he can also do that too. But Shuko doesn't do that.
I mean, I would also have to say, based on current ability, current form, current performances, I'll go with Nathan Teller as well. Even though I'll probably not start either of them, I'll probably start Simon. But
Mm-hmm.
between those two options, I'll go with Nathan Teller as well. I think Teller is just straight to the point. The way Coach Eric Shell's teams usually play, they don't really cut in as much. They like to deliver balls. So I think that's something that Teller would do a lot more naturally. Chukwueze, again, his decision making can be very, very suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're just like, you're scratching your head like, Samuel, what are you doing? Even the times where he tries to cross the ball in on his left foot or he tries to find a pass, there'll be a defender right there. He'll just play it on the defender's body. And I don't know what he's expecting to happen. So his decision making can be suspect. Even if we look at the goals that he has scored for AC Milan, to even give him some credit, the goals were not necessarily from his fantastic creativity. So I think one of them was a moment of magic. Another one or the other two were like crosses into the box that he was able to get a nice header that he scored and things like that. So I would also go with Nathan Teller. Somebody here says Ahmed Musa being on the list initially was not for him to play. Musa is a captain off the pitch. We have heard he contributes a lot to the team behind the scenes, especially financially. No doubt Musa contributes. But if it's financial contribution, if they, I promise you, if they announce Musa tomorrow as a PRO for the NFF, nobody's going to fight.
No,
If they announce him tomorrow as a player liaison between the NFF and the Super Eagles players, nobody is going to fight. If you say financially, they can make him the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Nobody really cares like that. But Musa should stop taking up sports, whether on a standby provisional list or on a full list. And I'm glad he's not on the full list. I'm very glad. Because if not, there would have been an uproar. There would have been an uproar if
yeah.
Musa was there. And Musa's own will not even be Northern Quota. It will be Governor Quota.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me just take some comments. Some more comments. Someone says, let's not forget that Shell watched Dessers live, missing chances against Mali last year. So he's talking about that friendly match that we played against Mali when Eric Shell
Mm-hmm.
beat us 2-0. He said
Mm-hmm.
Shell watched him and he was missing chances. Do you think that that game before the AFCON, was
No,
it
after
before the
Afcon.
AFCON, after the
Afcon.
AFCON,
Mm.
can be a reason for him not getting caught up now despite his goals at Rangers?
I think one thing or the other, I also scouted the Nigerian players there. I just think that that is just extremely unlucky. And I think that you mentioned that Tolu. I think the Tolu Arokodare and Kadiban Kole, they are the West quarter. Yes,
Hmm.
if you are saying the Donald quarter too, Alasan Yusuf and Umar Sadiq, those two are the West quarter too. Because those two, we cannot explain their inclusion.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
We do respect to Arokodare, but I think he's a West quarter too. Maybe because Milokan, so I don't know.
So who
So
is who is who is Eastern Kota?
because there's no international but for me, I think that one is West Coast too. Because there's no, I don't think Tolu deserve to be there,
Hmm.
honestly. And let's check Sadiq Umar. There's no assignment you have called him for. He has performed for Nigeria. Go and check it now.
How many assignments have they called him for, though?
No, it was, don't forget that Sadiq Umar was in the AFCON in 2021.
But how many games? All the years,
No,
all the years that he has been in the AFCON, how many total appearances does he have for
it
Nigeria?
was, it was the first choice. He didn't perform. That's why you have to drop him for Awoni. It was the first choice. It was the first choice. The last time he performed for Nigeria was 9 years ago. Nigeria on the Olympic Games. Yes, now go and check his games. Go and check his games. And I have to say these things too. That the players call. Maybe when we're giving our final remark, I will say those things. So for me, he has never performed. So like I don't know what they're bringing him to come and do. That is it. For me, that's why I said that maybe Chelle is just calling 20 players. The others are just passengers in camp.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Somebody says Sadiq Umar is a good pick. I will play him over Boniface. Do you agree with that?
Sally Cooper. If he's a different person, that would be better. But I don't think I will play Sally Cooper over Boniface.
Hmm.
Eh? They're not even close. With due respect, though, I believe Boniface to be having cough now and be sick than must fully fit to Sadiq. No, 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 no,
Oh,
no,
God.
no.
Okay, okay.
Ask
Uh,
the person that if somebody is to miss one-on-one chance to save his life, would he prefer to go to Boniface or to Miles Sadiq? Ask the
Sadiq.
person
See,
ask the
you
person
know, for
that's
me,
it.
I'm not even going to lie. If I'm being objective, Sadikuma is a very, very strange striker.
Mm-hmm,
I like to defend him because I feel like people pick on him too much. And for
mm-hmm,
me, I like to be, I like to be on the side of the underdog. I like to
mm-hmm,
be on the side of the people that nobody is supporting and nobody is backing. That's the
mm-hmm,
reason why I like to back him. But like
mm-hmm,
honestly, as much as I like Sadiq as a human being, nice humble guy. Like
mm-hmm.
whenever I watch him play, I'm always just like, oh god, it's always crazy because I've seen. I think I can't remember the game that he scored his first goal for Valencia. In that same game, he missed empty net from a header.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
he always has that tendency to just make you pull your hair out. Even in this last game, before he scored the winner, he missed two very good chances that he should have scored earlier in the game. So I
you know
understand
that one I said we miscontrol. You know that.
it. I mean, I'm not going to say if he's controlled it. Somebody was running. Look, I mean, when Dennis Beckham did it, we said it was a quality touch. Somebody was running, the defender was running, he controlled it and went to the other side of the defender. I'm going to give him benefit of the
Did he
doubt.
did he did he, did he draw the defender back?
I'm going to give him benefit of the
Did
doubt.
he draw the defender back
What do you mean draw the defender back?
when he was trying to put his leg?
I didn't draw the defender back. He showed grit now, tenacity to get to that ball.
Okay, yes, okay.
I'm going to give him benefit of the
No,
doubt.
it's not that one against Rwanda because that will blow foul because it's a away game. Oh. I'm just saying it here. It's a
Yeah.
away game. We will blow foul against him. Oh.
Okay. Um, Charles says Eguavon should leave Nigeria football alone. Why is he the football director? That one we cannot do anything about it. We cannot do
Mm-hmm.
anything about it. Um, Victor Balogun says, I want everyone to listen now. There is no Super Eagles list where Chukwueze will be dropped. There is nobody that you can tell me to replace him. Do you
Mm-hmm.
agree?
Yeah, Hertz will go and get Ethan Waneri.
Ethan is not going to play for us.
I know, but because since we like to make ourselves happy, there's one guy tweeting it in London. That is want to play for Nigeria. No, they like fake news, so they're happy in Nigeria. So but for me, you can never play for Nigeria. You know that already. So forget about it. I don't know, anyway.
Chika says Boniface is not better than Desas. Nope. Chika, I don't know if you watch them, but I would like you to give me reasons why you think Desas is better. It's very easy to say, oh, this guy is not as good, this guy is worse. Tell us why, and we'll take your reasons and take them into consideration. Let me see. Afolabi says, I think we need to use performances in the national team to discuss how good a player is. Boniface is not better than Uma in the national team. Again, we cannot judge somebody based on 8 games in national team and say that is how good the player is. Different situations. If somebody plays out of the 8 games, 5 of them were when the team was struggling. How do you now want to just judge that player based on those ones? Again, 25, 25, 25, 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there, 1 or 2 starts. How do you judge people based on that? Boniface's overall ability is far ahead of Sadiq Umar. As much as I like Sadiq Umar, Boniface's overall ability. They say it's like you have Michael Jordan on your team and you say Michael Jordan was bad for the last 10 games, so you're not going to play him again. It doesn't really make sense. When somebody is that good as a football player, it is your duty as a coach to make it work. It's your duty as a coach to make it work. So that's the way I look at Boniface. He is a very, very good football player. I don't care what anybody thinks about his performances in the national team. He is a very good football player. The coach needs to figure it out and make it work. It's not like he's missing empty nets. It's not like he's missing clear goal scoring chances. He just hasn't lit it up. He just hasn't been inventive. But you cannot justify leaving Boniface out of the national team and calling people that don't have half the ability that he has. It wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't really make sense. Okay, let us move forward. Someone says Awoni. Awoni was not in the provisional list, so it's hard for us to really talk about him now. He wasn't even in the provisional list, so there's no way he would have just jumped into the main list, all of a sudden. Let me see. Yes, Ayuba says more people should like the video. Yes, guys, please, if you are watching, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on replay, please, please, please like the video. Like the video. Thank you very much. Share if you haven't shared it already. Let's get more people tuned in. I'm going to share the link for people to call in very soon so that you can share your thoughts. Okay, okay. We have more comments. I can't take every comment. I'll just try to go for as many as possible that catch my eye. Um, Someone says Tella should come off the bench. He was poor in previous Eagles appearances.
One game. Why? Who's that person?
That's still with Nigeria sometimes. That's still with Nigeria sometimes. Any
45 minutes.
any small thing. He's poor. You can't call him up. He's on that one, that one. Bobby with the super chat says Chris Santos Uche's omission is disappointing. I know
Don't
a
be that.
lot. They broke a lot of Nigerian hearts by not including Chris Santos Uche in this squad. They broke a lot of Nigerian hearts. A lot.
But some people are even planning to get content with him and everything, but unfortunately, it's not available. I have to go with his
Yeah.
hashtag.
It would have been nice to see him make his Nigeria debut,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, we have to wait a little bit more for that to happen. Maybe in June when it's friendlies, um,
Mm-hmm.
we would see more of him.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Someone says, "Do you think Kenneth Omero can still get into this team?"
He doesn't have a club.
Oh yeah, Omero is not even signed to any team right now,
He's not
so
signed for anything. He
he's
doesn't
not
have a
really in the
club.
picture. He's not really in the
He's
picture.
he's not in the picture.
Um,
Good servant for Nigeria, but he's not. He cannot even say it. You call him up now to come and do what?
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Smith Layi,
Yeah.
we've discussed overall. So
Mm-hmm.
now that we've seen the 23 men that are going to do battle,
Mm-hmm.
how confident are you feeling?
For me, I'm nothing, no shaking. I'm confident. I'm trying to get into Eric Sekuchile's head. Yeah, I'm trying to get into his head, and I think that I think I know he know what he's doing. I think he know what he's doing. So I think I'm confident. I think we're gonna beat Rwanda first.
You're
To take
confident that we're going to beat Rwanda.
Rwanda into Kigali.
I like that. For me, I will say I still feel confident based on the players that we have, regardless of who maybe the 23 players are. We still have a lot of quality in this team. We still have
Mm-hmm.
good players across the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how the coach uses them and the kind of level that they put in for
Mm-hmm.
us on the day. For me, I would just say this. I'm giving Coach Eric Sekou Shell the benefit of the doubt in
Mm-hmm.
terms of some of these selections. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to just insult or shout or vex. I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. What I will say though, Smila, you will know this. We need to get 2 wins out of 2
Mm-hmm.
in these games. We
Mm-hmm.
need 2 wins out of 2. We need those 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
If it should drop points in either of these games, there is going to be backlash,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you call some players that people don't think should have been there. If we're losing a game, for example, and Sadiq comes and Sadiq doesn't perform, people are going to point to that selection and say, you did not call who scored 20 something goals. You called Sadiq Umar.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we have issues in defense and Igbogu should make a mistake, people are going to point to the fact that you didn't call up enough defenders. You didn't call up experienced players that are playing in top leagues. You called a new boy in Igbogu. Assuming we have issues in midfield, Alassane Yusuf makes a mistake, people are going to point and say you made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm giving the coach benefit of the doubt, as a coach, you live and die by your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You live and die by your own selections. I just hope that the coach knows exactly what he's doing. I
Mm-hmm.
hope that he's confident in himself and in his players. I hope that he believes that in the short amount of time that he has, he's going to be able to instill his decisions, instill his ideas, and get them to play the way he wants them to play. It is a do or die affair. I beg, I want to go to the World Cup. I want to watch my national team at the World Cup. In the
Mm-hmm.
biggest World Cup ever, it will be a shame for Nigeria to not be able to take part. And I
Yeah.
don't want to have to go and play intercontinental playoffs. That's
Mm-hmm.
stress. That's
That
stress.
is long. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let me just give my own submission to on it. Eric Chelle. Abi, it doesn't matter to call your name again. Say Abi call her. Eric Shell, my main man.
Hmm.
I trust you from the beginning, and I still believe in you. You see that these players. I won't. I don't think there was any quota there. These are the guys. Are your soldiers, and I believe that if you are going to a war, you go with your best soldiers. So you believe that these guys can do the job for you in Kigali and in Uyo. I wish you the very best of luck.
Hmm.
And to a certain player in this team that you stick your neck out for, the player play in Germany. The player did not. The player has issues with indiscipline in the last camp, but because of the trust you have in this player, you are bringing this player in. I'm not talking to those players too now. If this coach is believing in you to do the job, don't let him down.
Hmm.
Don't let him down. If you don't perform, the leader in the team has the right to criticize you if you are not performing, to ginger you.
Hmm.
And for me, I think in any authority, in any organization, you respect authority.
Hmm.
If somebody is telling you that you need to do it right, he has done it before. The person that is talking to you have qualified for the World Cup. You don't have the right and the audacity to talk back or to even want to fight. I'm praying for camp harmony. I'm praying for the spirit of being a Nigerian. Please, this guy, his job is on the line if you fail him.
Hmm.
Talking to those guys, please don't let him down. If it's for some NFF officials, some of these guys will not be in this team. But he took his neck out to say, okay, I still need them.
Hmm.
But this team will still evolve under me. Let them start first. He said it. That in June, there will be changes. So there will be what? More changes.
Hmm.
I believe in the coach. I also believe in the players too. Please, the agenda should be Nigeria first, not any individual, not showbooting, not showing to the crowd. It should be Nigeria first. We must qualify for the World Cup. That is my take.
Hmm. All right. Thank you very much, Smith Layi. Let me just take this comment from Real K. Real K says, I will play the regulars. This is not the time for experiments. Yes, it's tough for a coach to really try to experiment when we have two crucial qualifying matches at this stage. Okay, we have a bunch of people waiting to speak, so let me take callers. Guys, just because of time, we would have to go relatively quickly so that we can get to as many people as possible. But first, we have Oladipupo Ayinde, our regular on the
Hey, Ozima is here.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, good evening. How you doing, bro?
I'm very well, boss. So, to be honest, I'm not happy with the list. To be very honest, first
Hmm.
off,
Yeah.
I think this list is. I think you mentioned something earlier. IoT. You said is a bit of Eric Cherry's list and say one of the NFL's people's list for that keeping position. I don't agree for him not to. I don't see reason for him not to pick Okoye. But yeah, we have he has his own way of saying, okay, Okoye is injured. Okay, we accept the three men they've picked. For the defense line, I can't really say much. But for the midfield, man, if indeed he must be in that team, then um this guy, what's his name? That short man that gave us penalty in World Cup, in
After
National
Yusuf,
AFCON. He must not be there. Then, if he must be there, if indeed he must be there, that guy must not be there. So one of them must not be there. Indeed, it's not like what you said. You said he's giving us some leadership role that we can't see. I don't know how a player gives leadership role that we can't see. Ekong gives some leadership roles that we see.
we can see.
Yeah, when Mikel was in the team, he gives leadership roles that we
But we
can
can
see.
see.
So I don't know. Maybe he motivates them inside the dressing room. Say you people
It,
should be
it, it,
calm.
it
Or
claps.
then he
It
goes
claps.
inside the team, inside the field, and said and just be acting like he's a zombie. But uh, even this guy Uche, do you know he was on your live earlier today?
Oh yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, from his comments, you can tell. I mean, allegedly, because that's the new trend now. You can tell he was asked for something. From what he said Nigeria can never ever ever be better. If it was just mere, oh, he wasn't picked for just say he's not Super Eagles ripe, he wouldn't be saying such comment. That comment is too much. You can tell they've asked him for something. So I don't understand why. Okay, let's say Uche is omitted, then why would they leave our best midfielder in Afcon? Why would they leave him out? I can tell you, Alassane is not going to kick a ball in these two games. Let's say that it is this Northern Quota thing. Let's even give your platform views after you post it, so I will give them something to watch. Let's give them something to say. It is Northern Quota. There's nothing you can tell me
Hmm.
because this thing was happening when Keita was there. They kept bringing him on, and this man was after he lost
I beg.
proper chance for us in World Cup. They kept bringing him on. Agaba Lawa played for 11 years. What is he
Without doing,
playing?
doing nothing. And
Doing
just
Mr.
nothing.
Mr. Gabalawa was one
is
of my
it
best Nigerian players, though.
He was the best Nigerian, but everybody likes him because he's humble and that. But
he comes to come first.
in the game, what
Doesn't
is
he
he
play for his club?
contributing? Yeah, it's just so this Northern Quota thing it exists because this thing is showing in every sector in Nigerian space. For that forward, bro, I won't lie to you. Boniface, 100% is not worth being in that team.
Hmm.
Allegedly, I'm telling you that he has pressed money for a Guavon because he knows how to
Ah,
press money.
haba,
I'm
haba,
telling you,
Allegedly.
see,
haba.
Boniface. Okay, let's be honest with each other. How what's the criteria for choosing players for match windows? Is it not your most recent form? We keep saying English team. They call Nigerian players, and at a point they stop calling them. The reason is because their form drops. So if you are not doing well, national teams usually is they are the one reaping the fruit of club football labor. When you are doing well for your clubs, when it's
They
time
call
for
you.
national team duty, they will pick the best out of the best. But Nigerians don't pick the best out of the best. They pick the ones they want, the ones they want to see in that. So I don't understand why someone that has not played the past 5 or 6 games enters national team. And then today they brought him in 65th minute. What has he played? He played rubbish. if he plays that game, the first and second game for Nigeria, you see the way he'll be handling. But he's not a Super Eagles stuff. He's a very good player. He's a very good player, but he's not a Super Eagles material at
Hmm,
all. At all, on and off the pitch, he's not a Super Eagles material.
hmm, hmm.
So to me, I would have preferred see that team now today. I analyze that team. That forward, they have 85 goals, all of them, 85 goals with Boniface and this guy with the least goals and that Hausa boy. He has three
Sadiq
goals.
Kumar.
Yeah,
Sadiq Kumar.
yeah,
It's
he has
falling off.
three
It's falling
goals. While
off.
Boniface has 10 goals. They are the least goal scorers in that team. Now tell me, what's the criteria for picking strikers? Is it not goals and your form? But you are picking people that has less goals ahead of Desas that has more goals. Nah, man, that's not fair. I mean, this is not the time for us to be doing something like this when this is really really critical to us.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm very emotional about it because I mean I don't. God, well, that's all I have to say, Sha.
All right. Thank you very much. You've made some
Yeah,
heavy
boss.
allegations, but
No, allegedly,
yeah,
allegedly,
and that's why I
allegedly.
said now allegation now
Allegedly, oh.
allegedly, but thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Very good. You want NFL people to come and fight me.
No, 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 allegedly, allegedly.
Okay. Mr. Adedatun, welcome.
Thank you, AyoT. Thank you, Smith Layi. AyoT, I was trying to join earlier, but I was sleepy. Smith, let me just take it from my brother, Oladipo, Olawosimen. Um, I will forever justified Gabalawa's inclusion in the national team back then because he was always doing his job. But now let me go to the list. Please, somebody should please tell me the criteria, Shell or NFL used in picking Hamas Obasoge,
He has kept three
who
clean
moved,
sheets for Singida Blackstars.
who moved from Ethiopia to Tanzania,
Hmm.
playing for Singida Blisters.
It's not big
Not
star.
wait, IoT. You know, I asked people like I follow that league every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
In fact, he has not get 5 matches for Singida Blisters. He has not get 5 matches. His first match, he was removed in the first half because he had injury. Though he made one crucial save. His second match, they played 2-2.
Hmm.
He Ahmad did not sign for Simba, he did not sign for Yanga, he did not sign for Azam, when he signed for Singida. Go and see the gap between Yanga, Simba, and Singida. For a Nigerian player, Spikes keeper, not to get into Simba, Yanga, or Azam, you are now bringing it to Spikes.
Hmm.
And now, who's Adra is not going to keep? Bro, you wouldn't be no, if you wouldn't believe that Okoye had been out with injury with what he did yesterday. Go and watch match against Lazio. Okoye played as if he never left. Now you are not telling me that Ahmad is better than Okoye. Kyle Bankole, we know that one came to Ogmodede. That one came to Ogmodede.
Hmm.
That's that about the goalkeeping department. In the midfield, IoT, Alhassan Yusuf has not played football in how many months?
I know this MLS season has started now. He has played.
ML, I just said ML weeks, just last week.
Yeah, but he has played.
Just one match, IoT.
No, it's more than one match. Let me confirm because they are playing Concacaf this thing as well. I think he has played like 3 matches or so.
IoT.
Yeah, 3 matches.
There
Yeah.
is no, see, I said it, I love Alhassan, even nation score. But when he moved to the US, I said Alhassan should not be playing for Super Eagles again. Because if American best players are moving to Europe, though their best players are moving to Europe, why should bring Alhassan? I want Papa Daniel. that could not make it in Turkish Division 2, that could not sign in Czech. See, I'm not going to pour sand in his galley, but there's in the league that is playing well, that can take shots from anywhere. Eh? Well, on that one, I'll just leave him. But IoT, we have to be fair. Why should we bring in Sadiq Kumar? I don't know when we started using quota system in our football. I've been following Spikes for a very long time. For about over 40 years now. I can tell you categorically that in the time past, we've not been using quota system. Go and check it. All the players that have been invited from every region, they all merited it.
Mm.
1993 under 17, no single Southwesterner in the team. They did not support the team that they won. US 94. I don't know why people call Benue not the North. Benue is middle belt. No single person from the North there. Even though they tried to push Chelle Babangida, but he was doing well. But he didn't make it. I've watched Nigerian football for long and can say, but this time around, this is the worst time of our football. When an ex-NFL president came on national TV and said he used his own slot, that he used his own slot for a player.
Mm.
Definitely, some players in this list are there based on slots. I was giving Chelle 100% support before, but I'm sorry, with due respect, I've reduced it to 90%
Mm.
because I don't see any. Because Smith gave us that confidence that Chelle is stubborn, that will not allow anybody to do any nonsense.
Mm.
But now, Smith, we can see that his stubbornness, his stubbornness cannot reach NFL stubbornness. So, because Kyle Bankole, nah. Nah, if I thought I'm going to choose an unbased goalkeeper, not Kyle Bankole, my number one prayer is Amas Obasuke. I've been saying it. Super Eagles should be treated sacred because that's the pinnacle of our football. We should stop inviting players based on agenda.
Mm.
The way they invite everyone till he moved to Division 3 in England, and he doesn't even get playing time, always on the bench. Maybe out of every 3 months, you play just 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Mm.
We can do better than this. They should please stop it. The same way they kept pushing one till he moved to Sudan. Then from Sudan, he came back home. I think these people should understand that, like I will be saying, politically, financially, the country is not getting it right. And the only thing that gives people joy in that country is football.
Mm.
And they just want to take that joy away from them.
Mm.
Prosperity will judge every one of us.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adedotum. Very passionate talk. Always what we get from Mr. Adedotum. Okay. Let me take the next person. Michael, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi everyone. I've been following this program. Um,
Thank
I
you.
live in the UK.
I think this is your first time coming on because I don't think I've seen your face before.
Yes, this is my first time, but I have a cousin who is always on your show, Timmy.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So my name is Michael. Um, so I just have some things to say. The first thing I saw is that the list came out before this week. So this list will have been out by last week. They were just keeping it because they didn't release the 39 on time.
Mm.
So the only way they can explain it is to release one on the weekend and quickly release. Because if you look at the time difference between the 39 list and the 23 list, you will see that it's short.
Yeah, just a week.
So the time that the 39 list was out, the 23 list was already out. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to
No,
say.
I
So I'm
understand.
trying to say that before Saturday, they have this list. So some of the players that we see that have come back from injury, I believe that maybe the coach was not really sure until he sees them play, to bring them in. That's one.
Mm.
So two is that I believe that there is a communication gap because we have had different times when Yama was injured when we used to play in France, and then they will speak to them, and then they will come and they still play. You see, so I believe there is a communication gap that the coach also has to work upon too. The fact that a player is injured does not mean that player is going to spend a long time, especially with the advancement we have in medicine now. They know what to do to fix all these things. So if you go by the by different department, you'll see that if the list was actually released today, then a player like Okoye, for example, would play. That's what I believe in. And then if you go to the midfield, defense, it will have been better that we had seven. So I would have sacrificed the spot of Sadiq Umar for sure,
Mm.
so that we have seven defenders. And if what Smith Layi used to say is correct, then I think that we should have had eight midfielders. If you be going by diamond formation, we should have eight midfielders, and then probably six strikers or three strikers and three wingers. Because if we go by diamond formation, you need to have a like for like in each of the four rows,
Mm.
and then you can have Ademola Lookman, for example, and Osimhen. And if you remove them, you can still have Simon and Boniface. You see, so you can still replicate that. So you can have three strikers, three wingers. And then if you want to revert to 4-3-3, you can still use two wingers, a striker, and then your three midfielders that stay there. So I think that I don't know how these things happens. These guys are coaches, but if you are intelligent enough, you will see that there's a comma. There's a comma in that because there's no way you play a game without having enough defenders.
Mm.
In fact, it's better you have more defenders than strikers sometimes because you can score and then you need to defend if your defender gets injured. So, I would say that we are Nigerians. There are quota systems in these things. You mentioned not saying enough. I studied. I was in medical school in University of Abuja before I left to go and complete my training in Ukraine. So I know how they picked us. So they picked us by region. We were going to University of Abuja. You will have expected that the best of us would go, but you will see that they will say, if you are from Ondo State, this is your score. I'm from Ondo State, so my score has to be high. So when I'm scoring 80, 85 over 100 to be picked in University of Abuja to go into medicine, you see somebody from Nasarawa who is scoring 53 being picked, and a guy from Akure that has scored 77 is out. And then you pick a guy from Nasarawa because everybody has to. It doesn't make sense. So there's no real competition in Nigeria, and that's why we are failing. That's why we're lagging back.
Mm.
So it's also showing in our football. There's no way you can justify the inclusion of Umar. There's no way you can justify it.
Mm.
So if you, I know for your own program, you will not want people to blacklist you, but we know that we Nigerians, we do those things right. I'm here in UK now, and I'm enjoying medicine here. These are the reasons why we go. I was one of those guys who will call for strike. I will not deceive you. When I was a resident doctor in Nigeria, I will be the first to say we are going on strike because why would you do things this way when other people, and when you come to the NHS, the doctors there are not more brilliant than we are. But we are seeing why they are doing better because there is good organization, there is good
mm,
structure. This is what we also need in Nigeria. In fact, while I was schooling in Ukraine, in every of the sets that you see, before I got to the school and when I left, there's always a board where they write the 10 best students in each set. You will see out of the 10, 7, 8 will be Nigerians. Then you will see maybe one Indian that is always reading in the library. Then maybe you will see one guy from Poland or you will see one guy from UK. But you see 7 Nigerians. Feel I can bet I can beat my chest to say that in a medical school. But the same Nigerians, give them 10 years, give them 15 years. You see that guy who was not even on the board and is from Poland, will be doing marvelous later in the next 20 years, will be doing better surgeries than the best in his set who was a Nigerian.
mm,
Why? Because there's no structure,
mm.
because we don't do things the right way. So we regress, we retrogress at the end of the day. And this is what is happening with our football. So for Mr. Adedotun, quota system has been in Nigeria for a long time. In fact, when Keshi tried to break it in 2013, they called that Eagles. They say Igbo Eagles. I don't know if you have heard it before. They say Igbo Eagles.
Mm.
That was the first time I heard that term. So why? Because he refused to pick the Northerners and he refused to pick some people from the West. I'm from the West. So they said it's Igbo Eagles. So I would not want to take your time so much.
Mm,
Just know that there is quota system,
mm,
and unfortunately, Eric Chelle cannot beat that until he plays the politics with them. So that
mm.
was what Genethro did. Genethro played the politics properly, and then he was able to now pick his team, and Nigeria went to his peak. So maybe Eric Chelle is taking a leave from Genethro and he's saying, okay, you have to play the politics and then assert your team at the end of the day. Thank you very much for the
All
opportunity.
right. Thank you very
I'll
much,
be leaving.
Michael.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it. Made some good points, I must say. And I will say this, when I say I see, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't think there's a quota system, but for me, I just think it's a bit harsh on the people to just come out and say, "Oh, guy, the only reason why you're in this team is because you're from the north." It's a bit harsh, especially for a sport that is not like it's different if there is a target score and you don't hit the target score and then they are calling you up, but there is no clear minimum requirements. It's all based on perception and people's opinions. That's why I just feel like somebody like Alassane Yusuf now, for his mind, he will say, I've worked hard now, I'm doing well. What do you mean I'm not? I'm only there because I'm from the north. That's the only reason why I say it. I feel like it's just a bit harsh. If I'm the one and you tell me, oh, the only reason why they picked me is because I'm Yoruba, I'll feel somehow. But let's hear from Uche. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay, so I'm going to start from Al
Quota system.
Hassan. Yes, I don't like when there's partiality. Like
Mm,
football is competitive, right? And I actually while I was growing, I actually played like I enjoyed midfield play. Like I'll play for.
mm,
So for me, right now I see like Oyeka is like one of the best tacklers. He plays it very well in Germany, and all of a sudden, while replacing him with the people that you're putting there, the players that you chose ahead of him, can't even lace his boots right now. Like Al Hassan is playing in USA. Papa Daniel
Papa Daniel
Mustafa?
Mustafa. Mm,
He's playing in MPFL. Okay, he's different. If it's that I want to keep for MPFL player who
MPFL
got
quota.
your get. If you want to keep that, then definitely we should have Oyeka in that team because we're trying to qualify for World Cup.
Mm,
Our midfield should not be thin. Indeed, it's not that kind of box to box midfielder that be running. I get that before, no be property.
mm,
It's not. He did it before, but it's not doing it now. Maybe if you want him to sit as a six, he can sit, or you want him to just stay up front as an eight, he will do that. But for
mm,
him to do the work that Oyeka is doing, none of the midfield players that was chosen actually does what Oyeka can do. Is it Onyedika? Onyedika is more like a says Fabregas play from behind. This dictates the play from behind. But Onyeka is more like the cleaner, does everything, but yet you are replacing him for someone that sorry, Al Hassan in the last AFCON. The reason why we had to play penalty with South Africa was because of Al Hassan. If you can remember that game,
I mean, he considered
if
the
you
penalty. Yeah.
so he's like there's always this problem with the way he plays. He's too anxious, overzealous whenever he's going into tackle. His tackles are not always clean. He's always fouling players, and now he takes that same skill set down to America, to United States, that the league is not even up to par with the Belgian league. What do you expect from that player? Is it going to grow or is it going to retrogress? But you are putting that player in a World Cup qualifier just because of the quota system. Now, the striking role. I feel like a lot of the players we should have stock up the midfield rather than the strike. Just as the former speaker said, the strike force is just too bloated. You have Osime, Arokodare, similar style of play. You have
Boniface.
what is Boniface? Boniface is lackadaisical. Like he's just like I don't care. Like I know what I'm doing. You don't, especially when you're going into a World Cup qualifier. You don't need those kind of striker. You need someone that you know that is going to be decisive. Someone that brings something different. This has 22 goals. Why not bring in that kind of striker in? And Onoachu, someone that is tall, someone that is built. And then you know that okay. I remember Smith discussing about the way Rwanda plays, or that the new coach how he plays, how he plays six in the defense and three midfielders, and you're going to play against that team, and you don't have a joker that knows how to dribble. Where's
Moses
Ejuke?
Simon can dribble now.
Yeah, but is he the only one? Remember what happened to us with Tunisia now? They just marked him out, and he could not do anything. But you need
Chukwueze can
someone
dribble.
that dribbles different. That's with Chukwueze, you just show him the left hand side. Just keep training him till he takes the ball off the corner. It's different from Eduke. Eduke can turn, can twist. So those are the kind of players that you actually need in the World
Mm,
Cup qualifier. You need this kind of players that will bring
mm,
something different. Someone that can hold the ball. We top we're just too top heavy. It's like onion. It's just up there, and every other thing is useless. The defense, the same thing. We're supposed to get even. I would have even chosen eight eight defenders rather than the six that they chose. Then for the goalkeepers, Manuel Neuer sometimes goes on injury for like 1 year. Remember when he went to like 6 months, 8 months, but immediately he comes back because you already know that it's already inbred in him. He will go in and
mm,
keep well. And none of our goalkeeper actually is up to standard the way Okoye is. He comes in, he makes
mm.
4 saves. So why not put him in the team? And this actually shows, just as the former speaker said, that this list has been out since last week. So no one, that means when contacting these players and
About the
asking them,
yes.
how are you faring? Like we already knew that Fisayo was going to be on the bench as at Saturday, but yet you take him off the team, and we already know that he's still going to play. See, I don't know whether we want to qualify for World Cup, or maybe we want to use quota system, but we just dey sit down dey look. If you no qualify, go show go answer
Mm.
question. Anyway, sha, I
All
go
right.
drop right now.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much, Uche. Appreciate your contribution. We have two more callers and then we'll wrap up for tonight. My friend Bobby Ray,
Hey, Bobby.
how you
Hey,
doing?
I
Long
am
time.
good. I'm good. Greetings. Yeah, long time, long time, long time. Um, I'll get straight to it. So look, in relation to the list has so many holes, and I was actually disappointed but not surprised because this is meant to be Eric Shell's first list, and I believe that all the names in this list are not down to him.
Mm,
That's what I believe. I believe either some names have been brought in going to each department, from the goalkeeping department, I always say it. All these home-based goalkeepers we keep bringing, that all these home-based goalkeepers, all these and they're not even the best from the league. That is the funny aspect. They're not even the best from the league. What if something happens to Wabali now? Are you telling me that Obasoge or Bankole are the ones that will be in between the sticks? Okay. Going to the defense. What is the rationale behind dropping Osho? We brought in what's his name? Ike Ogo.
Ego.
Ike Ogo. Even though people have been clamoring for him, yes. But I believe that Osho should be ahead of any of them. Osho should be in that team. Why he's not there, I don't know. Going to the midfield is lightweight. It's very, very light. And I don't consider Iwobi as a midfielder to me. Not even to me. Iwobi is not a midfielder. People will say, okay, but he's doing well at Fulham. Does he play in the midfield? He plays on either wings, either the left or the right. He's not a midfielder. If you want the best results from Iwobi, put him on the wings, not in midfield. Not even as a 10, unless you're going to play him as an inside forward, which I don't know whether that's the system Chelle will deploy. Also, when you talk about the midfield, okay, you brought Hassan Yusuf. Hassan Yusuf should not, I've said he shouldn't be in that team. Since he went to the US, before he was finally invited to the Super Eagles, I've been clamoring for him for years. Even before the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. I was already clamoring for him that bring him in. Yes, he was good. Yes, he needed development. But someone that needs development, instead of going from Belgium, which is a developmental league, to a better league, you're going to the US and you expect you will get better. He can't get better. He can't get better. Either he stays at where he is or he'll go down. Why are you bringing him in? Where's Chrysanthus Uche? We don't have any ball carriers in that team. There's no Fisayo Dele-Bashiru, who are expected to be there. But since he's not there, you have no Fisayo Dele-Bashiru. Iwobi is not a midfielder. So who will progress the ball in that team? Who can take the ball from midfield upwards or connect from defense, midfield to attack? There's nobody there. Going to attack. I've been saying this thing. Why do you always do the same thing? We pack all the strikers in the world. How can you take 4 top 9s? What are you using 4 top 9s to do? You have Boniface, you have Osimhen, you have Arokodare, and you have Sadiq. To me, Sadiq shouldn't even be in the team. Picking Sadiq ahead of someone like Desas, it makes no sense to me. Why is he in the team? He just came back. He just made a new club, scored a few goals. Some people are shouting, just a few goals. Where is the consistency? Desas has been consistent basically throughout the season. Even though I know, there's a time I said, after the game against, I think the friendly match against Mali, I said Desas has used all his chances. He's used all his lives. But picking a Sadiq over him, who is clearly in form, makes no sense. It's not even like Sadiq is performing in the Super Eagles. He has been performing. The chances given to him, he hasn't delivered. So what is the rationale behind bringing him in? I don't see the rationale. Coming to the top 9s, you still have the likes of Chelle, who can play as a center forward or a false 9. So why bring in 4 top 9s? It makes no sense. The midfield is the engine room of a team. So you need to stock up your midfield. You need creativity. You need runners inside the team. We don't have that in the team. We do not have it. So this list is shaky. Though it being shaky doesn't mean that we cannot beat Rwanda and Zimbabwe with this same list, with this same team, if used properly. But it's disappointing. There's nothing. It's not really giving me big hopes. Yes, some key figures are in, but this team, there are too many holes. I'm afraid there are too many holes.
But I mean, looking forward to Rwanda and Zimbabwe, we should, even with the selections that are questionable, we should still be able to get 6 points. No.
Yeah, we should. But in some cases where you might get into difficult situations, you need certain qualities to help you out. May the midfield not let us down, because that midfield is very light. I expected Chelle to address the midfield, because the midfield is too light. I don't know why we always do the same thing all the time. We pack all the strikers. See, strikers without a midfield, it gives you nothing. It gives you nothing. There's no way they will deliver. For example, look at our wings. We have only one winger, who is Moses. Lookman is not a winger. Um,
Chukwueze.
don't call Chikwueze, man. See, Chikwueze. I don't consider. I've written Chikwueze off. Chikwueze is just so much talent, so much skill, no brains. He
Hmm,
has. We know he has the skill. We know he has the talent, but he doesn't have the brains. I've
hmm,
been criticizing. I do criticize Simon, but if we are being realistic, among our wingers, Simon is the most consistent.
hmm.
You can decide to play Teller on the wing, yes, and he will give you something. And honestly, that's what I might even do. Put Chukwueze on the bench, but Chukwueze is too unreliable. Yes, he scored a goal the last time. So what? That was the only thing he did in the game. That's the problem. That's the problem. Unless we'll have to depend on our fullbacks to give us that width, to give us creativity. Because yes, we have with Aina and Sanusi, yes, they can give you that
Not
width
Sanusi,
on
Bruno.
Bruno. I mean to say, I don't even trust Bruno. I don't. Bruno is Bruno. I've never been a fan of Bruno. I've not. I'm not his fan. I prefer Sanusi Zaidu over Bruno. But maybe the coach is looking at him that maybe he just came out from injury. He's been playing from the B team. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. We just have to see. But this list is this list is not down to just Chelle, because for Chelle I was looking at more like looking at after this window, the next window I think is when we really see his own list. For now, we say he hasn't really gotten his feet under the table. Let's have them all fit, and yes, we there should be no excuses. Still, there should be no excuses.
All right. Thank you very much, Bobby Ray.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. You're
Nice
welcome.
to hear from you.
Yeah, no props, no props.
Okay.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
Let's take the final caller for this evening and then we'll wrap
Yeah.
up. We're already well over 2 hours.
Over time, two
So,
hours.
Adequately, welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, good evening. How you doing, bro?
Good afternoon from here. Thank you. This is my first time in this platform, though I follow
Thank
I
you.
follow
Thank you.
you. As a matter of fact, I have to quickly just leave my job to come down to come and listen to this live.
Wow.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. I
so
appreciate it.
in order not to, I'm calling from Canada, Winnipeg.
Ah, yeah, Winnipeg, my
Yes.
people.
In order not to just waste time, is I think to me personally, the deal has been done. Those players has been called up. The next thing is how you are going to perform on the field.
Hmm,
There is no anything less than 6 points from that two matches is a failure.
hmm,
Believe me, if they bring all the players from MPFL and they and they won and they win those two matches, people will clap for them and say, "Oh, these are good players." Because to Nigerians now, what we need now is 6 points. Anything far from that, believe me, to me, it's a failure. I follow Super Eagles like anything on when I'm in the work or something. I have to watch their live match. But over the time, they have not been really giving much vibes. The last two matches, even those players that said that they did not bring, if they in the team, are they going to perform?
hmm,
We talk about money, we talk about a lot of players that they give them chances. I remember the last AFCON, we were complaining that it's because Boniface was injured, he was not in the squad. That's why we lost the trophy. But since the Boniface has been there, it's as if they are just joining the bandwagons. I don't know, understand. That's something I do not understand about their performance. You see the difference in how they are doing their club side and what they are doing. The last time I was so pissed off, I watched Boniface just handling the ball, the striker on the stand. I was like, this is the guy that was already playing for the Bayer Leverkusen, doing very well. But not to waste time, I just wish the coach good luck.
hmm.
I wish him good luck. Nigeria will not listen to any excuse again. Bro, we have to be in that World Cup. US is very close to where I am now. I've already planning to I was Nigeria playing in the World Cup. So no, forget about I'm in Africa. I want to go and support any African team. Yes, it's good to support Africa, but I want to support Nigeria.
Hmm.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you and
Thank
appreciate
you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. First time. Want to see you more in the future.
yes, I will be. Thank you.
All right. Okay, there we have it, guys. Thank you to everyone that has called in. Thank you very much. Lots of engagement today. We appreciate every single one of you. So, Smilai, final thoughts. We've heard from several people. We've both, spoken our minds as well. You gave people confidence when Coach Eric Shell was
Yeah.
appointed.
Yeah.
Should they still have that confidence going into these
Yeah.
2 games?
I will tell you that I told you about Eric Shell, and he said something that he just want to win this game.
Mm,
That he will start seeing his work from June.
mm,
What he really wants to do with this team, June, September, you start seeing his work. Give him that chance. I can
mm,
tell you that very last minute injury, starting 11 is ready.
mm,
So all those people you called, they are just -2, minus. The starting 11 is ready.
mm.
IoT, who did you expect to start for Nigeria? That is not in this list. That's
Mm.
not this. So starting 11 is what is ready. So I'm
But Smith,
confident.
starting level no be everything, because God forbid now, if one injury or if one something, you need to bring somebody on.
Okay, IoT, if you want to bring a striker on, who will you bring first before this?
We'll bring on Boniface.
If you want to remove Chukwueze, who will you bring on?
I mean, it depends on who is already on the field. Maybe Simon, if Simon is on the bench. Maybe Tella, if Tella is
Uh,
on the bench. Mm.
so, you look at it. You give him that doubt, a bit of doubt. Let him do his job. And I want to tell people that don't ever lose faith in Eric Shell.
Mm.
Believe in him. Believe in his philosophy. I tell you that Eric Sekuche will deliver. I can tell you that I don't know the player you talk about that they did not call him. I don't know the reason because I can tell you that his assistant has been on the phone with so many players, and some players can even confirm that the goalkeeper coach has been on the phone to all the 5 goalkeepers invited and explain the rationale and everything for them. So, in my opinion, let's us be optimistic. Let us go to Rwanda as one house and let's go and beat them in Kigali.
Mm.
And so too, CAF too, because CAF suspect that so that there will not be any, ABC. The game will take place simultaneously, especially in
Yeah.
Group C, so that I don't know. It's not even the last game. It's taking place simultaneously, so that everybody there could be
Give their
integrity.
best effort.
Yeah, integrity in the game. So well done to Cavs too for doing that. It's just his fifth game, but they're already doing game
Because
taking
it's
place.
crucial. It's crucial, man, and it's close, and a lot of people need results, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of countries cannot afford to not make this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a country like Nigeria, South Africa as well too will be looking that they need to. South Africa, the World Cup, they don't usually qualify unless
Mm-hmm.
maybe they host it in their own country.
Yeah.
So it's tough. They want to qualify. They see that Nigeria have started badly, so they
Mm-hmm.
think that they have as good a chance as they could potentially ever have.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. I'm going to say I still have confidence based on the quality of the players that I think we have. I'm just knocking on wood. Hopefully, no injuries, nothing crazy. Umabali can be fit, can be mentally okay, can get us through the 2 games. Our defense, no doubt, the defense is thin.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully there is no injury, because see, the reality of it is that defense is like one injury and we have to scramble.
Mm-hmm.
If all of a sudden Bruno gets injured, now we're taking Ola Aina to left back, we are taking Bright to right back. If Ekong should get injured, we're now saying, okay, Igo, go and play there. One injury in defense and the whole thing operation has to rotate.
All the standby player, Tamino, is always standby.
So I really hope we can stay injury free. I hope everybody comes and gives their best. Somebody like a Victor Boniface, who a lot of people criticize his commitment, criticize his concentration, criticize his desire when it comes to play for Nigeria. I hope he can come into this kind of game with a renewed mind, and come to
Mm-hmm.
give us the best version of himself. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, I like players with personality. I like players that like to be themselves, but at the same time, when you come for a serious assignment, you need to be able to know how to be serious. Again,
Yeah.
certain things that Smith Layi has criticized in the past, like players maybe selling jersey, I be selling clothes in
Mm-hmm.
camp, and all the unnecessary distractions. You are
Mm-hmm.
coming to camp, you are doing skits with skit makers,
Pictures
things
with
like that.
Chimika.
I hope that they can remove all of that for these
Mm-hmm.
2 very crucial games. Stay
Mm-hmm.
focused, work on the task at hand, and at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the 2 games, you might maybe have 2 or 3 more days to go and enjoy yourself before you need to travel to your club. You can go and use those 2 days after getting the 6 points. You can go to Lagos, you can go to Obafemi Martins club, enjoy yourself, and then you can go back to your
And
club side. But
just
they
to
need to
add
stay
to it,
focused.
IoT. those also say Vadiamo or Gary, Akure or Lagos, please too, let us qualify for this World Cup. Let us qualify for this World Cup. I beg, let us
You are
qualify
taking
for this
shots
World
at our content creators. Oh.
Cup. All these Lagos are going, let us qualify for the World Cup. I
One of
beg.
the one that go to camp to be showing players ties and all this thing.
Ah, see, I beg, I just beg that I beg. Let us fire with this World Cup. Don't let us distract this player. This World Cup is a destiny World Cup. In fact,
Hmm.
if we didn't destiny World Cup, I'm talking about it in all ramifications.
Hmm.
It's a destiny World Cup.
Hmm.
Some people, this is a life-changing World Cup for some people. Life-changing World Cup. Some people, life will never remain the same again after this World Cup.
Hmm.
So please, some people don't plan for this World Cup. I beg. Super Eagles deliver.
Hmm. All right, that's what we wrap up for today, guys. Thank you very much for engaging. If you are watching live, we appreciate you. If you are watching on replay, thank you very much. If you haven't liked the video, guys, please make sure you like the video before you leave. And if you want to support, you can always support by leaving a super chat. It costs money to leave a super chat, but I promise you, if all you want to do is like the video, it costs you absolutely nothing, and it sends a signal to YouTube that we're creating quality content,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps to continue to grow the channel. Once again, thank you very much. This has been the Niger FC podcast with me, AyoT, and my reliable co-host.
Smith Layi. Thank
Thank
you
you very
guys.
much, guys. Bye bye.